What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 265. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Adam Vale.
What up?
Brian Manjoma.
What up?
And joining us once again, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andre Tipton, Otaku Man 5000.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. What's up, man?
Damn it. Yeah. Yo, by the way, you fucked up the records. I'm usually the first guy that curses on this show. Oh, well.
Well, at least we won't get hit by Kappa because of that now.
Yeah. All right. I need a little bit of vamping. Andre, how you been, man? What's going on with you in your life, man?
I'm pretty good right now. I'm pretty good. I'm a little tired, but I'm good. I'm good.
Hang it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about games tonight, man. You're gonna get that energy back. I promise you that, man.
Oh yeah.
You know something's gonna happen. You're gonna get all hyped up and shit. I'm
gonna get hyped up. I'm gonna get hyped up about something. I know that.
Yeah, I thought about you last week or the week before because I was looking at the eShop and Bomberman. This is for the Switch. Bomberman was on sale for like $8 or something, and I remember you bought that at launch. For what was it, like $50 or something?
Konami sent us that. They sent us that like all I did was go, hey, can we get Bomberman? Yeah, sure, okay.
Oh, all right.
Konami,
like, shit, that's like, yo, I Konami paid full price for this. You were talking about that.
Oh, I was going to. I was going to. Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, let's do that.
Yo, shout out to Paikuhan, man. Yeah. All right, a couple things here. Right before the show started, man, he's asking me, where's Robert Workman? Wasn't he supposed to be on? Well, as you may notice, there's a couple other people missing tonight. Carlos ain't here, and Brett ain't here. They've gone to go see Space Wizards in space. So yeah, they've got eaten
Pigs in space.
Space. Yeah, so they got eaten up by the Star Wars machine, so they won't be on, unfortunately. Brett may be on a little bit later. He said, he's going to watch the movie earlier, or he had watched it already, so he might be on later. Carlos MIA, but with Robert, we will have him on the last Throwdown Your Questions, people. I'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, so tonight you are hearing the last normal throwdown of the year. This is our year-end special. We do this every single year. We always try to get a guest on. That's why we got Andre on, and we're just going to run down through pretty much the biggest gaming stories of the year, best games we played, worst games we played, and we're going to look forward to 2020, right? And then on Sunday, we're going to have the final Throw on Your Questions of the year. That one's going to be the AMA special. We're basically ask us whatever you want. You guys know how it normally goes. We have you guys ask us video game questions, but this time ask us whatever you want. And we're already getting some crazy shit. My favorite question so far, don't answer it now, guys. Don't answer it now. My favorite question so far is, which member of the panel would you like to slap? Like, motherfuckers are getting crazy, man.
Damn.
And then my other favorite is a hot dog, a sandwich. Like, all right. But that's the type of shit we want,
It is. Everybody knows it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. We're not.
We're getting whoa. Bread is considered a
that's
sandwich.
not a
you gotta
sandwich.
save it.
Save it for the show. Save it for the show. That's not a sandwich. So that's what's going on on Sunday, and we're gonna take our usual 2-week hiatus and then come back later. And we will have Robert Workman on as a guest on Throw On Your Questions, the AMA special. And you guys normally know we don't usually have guests on the question show, so it's going to be very, very special to have him on, Hopefully he doesn't get freaked out by the questions we get from you guys, man. And then the last thing, I guess this is a kind of plug, but if you're in the New York area and you want to meet me live in person, you can touch my face and all that shit. I will be at Twitch's. They're going to be throwing a party at OSNYC in Chinatown. I'm going to be there from 7 to 11. Pretty much that's when the whole event is, and it's pretty much their end of the year special and stuff. They're going to be doing some streams and all that shit. So I'll be there. Danny Pena.
OSNYC, where is that?
It's in Chinatown.
Chinatown is small.
Yeah, it's on Bowery. The address like 50 Bowery Street. So it's like right there. It's like Bowery and Canal,
It's got to be somewhere on the main canal.
I know where that is.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be there starting at 7. So if you want to, come hang out with me, it's always cool. Here's the thing: I don't get to meet you guys very often. I meet you guys sometimes when I go to events, but this one should be pretty big. Just a little bit of a side story. I still remember when I went to E3, not last year, the year before, or this year, excuse me, the year before that, it was the second year where it was open to the public. And occasionally, I'd have a fan stop me and you'd be like, yo, man, I love Throwdown. It's crazy. I don't talk much, but I'm always checking you guys out. So that stuff is always a lot of fun. So please make sure to come through to OS NYC in Chinatown if you live in New York or in the area. Come at film. It's Hip Hop Gamers going to be there. It's going to be crazy, Anyway, so let's get into it, man. Let's run down some of the biggest gaming stories of 2019. This year was a little bit dry, admittedly, with some of the stories, but some stuff did happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick you guys one by one to tell us what you thought was the most important story, to you or to gaming or whatever, And Andre, since you're the guest, brother, why don't you start us off? What do you think was the biggest story or the most impactful story of the year in the gaming world?
I'll just get into it. Death Stranding. I'll just get into it. Death Stranding. The fact that it came out, the fact that it's so the bag is so mixed. It's probably the most. It might go down in history as one of the most mixed reviewed games probably in history. If not, I don't understand why it wouldn't. But yeah, the thing is, I still don't own it.
Oh, really?
I'm broke.
Oh man,
I'm so broke. It's ridiculous. We didn't buy kids stuff, but yeah. I can't wait. I'm buying it anyway. So I just can't wait. As soon as Christmas crap's over, I'm picking it up, and I'm gonna dive right in. Let everybody know what I think.
Yeah, I
know what you think.
Yeah, obviously, Death Stranding was. I almost did want to bring that up for myself. It was an interesting game because all the shit that led up to it. Kojima leaving Konami the way he did. Then soon afterwards, he announced the making of the game. The game was in development for a bunch of years, and then when it came out, like you said, it was divided. But at the same time, it seemed like everybody was playing it. Everybody had an opinion on it, and from what I've seen, actually, I don't know about sales numbers yet. I don't know how well it's done. I think the fact that maybe they're not talking about it may say something, but who knows? And then of course the whole controversy with the Game Awards. Before the Game Awards happened, that the game was nominated for damn near every category out there. So people were like, "Yo, is this shit rigged or whatever?" Obviously, it wasn't. Sekiro ended up winning. And I think Death Stranding overall won 2 awards. So it wasn't
3 awards.
Oh, it was 3. Damn.
Yeah, it was the director one, the music one, and then there was a third one. I can't remember what the third one was.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. And then obviously the whole thing with the game is I reviewed the game and I had a hard time pegging it down because it doesn't fit a genre comfortably. It takes elements from a lot of different things, but it's also still undeniably Hideo Kojima. And as I said before, that was my main hype for the game. I was like, okay, I've been following Kojima for a long time now. I want to see what he's done. I want to see what he's capable of outside of Konami telling him what to do. And this was super ultra Kojima, take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It feels like
that's what I like about it. That's what I like about it. Kojima's that dude. He's just like, look, man.
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, man.
It feels like an evolution of Metal Gear, the last Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It still has aspect of the last Metal Gear game. A lot of the way the menus sort of work, a lot of the way some other things, and then obviously added new abilities like the ability to jump.
Yeah, or double jump in some cases,
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely noteworthy as a game, and then all the controversy surrounding it. And it looks like, and now because of that, well, not because of the train, but in general, Kojima Productions, he is even going to start doing movies, which is kind of makes sense, right? Because Kojima's games have always been highly cinematic. If you go to his Twitter, all he does is talk about movies. Even his profile says he is 70% composed of movies.
If you watch his Twitter feed or his Instagram feed, I think it's dude, he's buying movies. Man, I thought I bought a bunch of. God, he buys movies every time I turn around. It's like every time you get on his Twitter feed, it's like,
yeah,
he's buying 4 or 5 copies of the same movie. I'm like, yeah, you're a fan.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense. And then we've seen him hobnobbing with celebrities all year.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody. Like the last one I saw him with was a J.J. Abrams, appropriately enough, and what's his face? Some motherfucker.
Oscar
yeah,
Isaac.
Yeah. So he was with them. So pretty nuts. I guess those guys will be DLC, right? In Death Stranding, you know.
They said that about Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, whoa. You know, shit, pin that down as a moment for this year. All right, so any other thoughts you guys have on Death Stranding, Manny? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. That's when we talk about the games. Adam, what did you think was one of the biggest stories of the year for gaming?
And I was thinking about this because it's early on, and at least I was going to say with Death Stranding, it's still fresh in everyone's mind. But there was another one for me, and that was Anthem. And I just had to confirm the release date, and that was February 22nd, 2019. How all the hype, remember, we were all hype when we first saw it. We were like, oh, this is going to be amazing. This is what we wanted from Mass Effect. This is it. And then when it came, we were like, no, this is not what we wanted. This is horrible. Oh, man. And it just flip-flopped. And to me, that was a big story because that was a game that everyone was like, this is it. This is the game that's going to save EA. This is what we wanted. This was it. And once it comes out, it flopped, man. It flopped. This is not what people wanted. This is not what they expected. And that was a big deal because that was the game that was supposedly going to bring them back into the fold and to make up for Mass Effect. And
for Mass Effect Andromeda, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it did not. And that was a big story because I know a lot of people didn't see that coming. I know we didn't. We thought, oh, that shit was awesome. I mean, during that time, you were in.
Not me.
Weren't you in there? Because then Manny was outside. He got kicked out for drinking or something, and he was across the street. He wasn't in the at the event over in California. Remember when you were trying to live stream? We were in the chat, and you were across the street.
Kicked out, bro.
I know, man. I know, but I remember it was that event.
It was. No, man. That event. When I saw the fucking footage, I'm like, this smells a lot like Destiny to me, man. My spider sense went off the instant I saw that footage, man. And I was right about that fucking game. You know, I was right about it.
It was even beyond Destiny. It just didn't even have that feel. It just was a big letdown. And now I think that was a big story because that was a big shocker. At first, a lot of people didn't think that was possible. They were like, this is it. This is the game we wanted. You know, and that's all you kept seeing. It's like, oh, what's going to make up for us? Oh, Anthem, obviously. Look at Anthem. This is amazing. You're like Iron Man, and you're flying around and stuff. You get to grab your buddies in the team and do missions on planets. This is it. This is the new Mass Effect. This is what happened. Remember the whole studio thing, debacle with the facial animations? Oh, they all left because they went to go do Anthem. That's why. That's the butt game. We got screwed.
Yeah, that's right. You know, just to back it up a little bit, remember for Mass Effect Andromeda, one of the things about the game was that it was made by the quote unquote B team, right?
B team,
the A team, right? And not talking about the old school A team, you know, the main team. They were doing fucking.
They were working on Anthem.
And then people saw it's like, wait, this is what you guys produced? Really? You fucking kidding me? So I understand that. It's like, yo, like you had your A team, right? And they produced Drek, basically a fucking half-assed Destiny clone. You know?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yo, and think about it like this. The special edition of this game, I don't know about now, but like a week ago, this shit was on sale for $5, man. $5.
Wow.
It's still on sale for that.
I had to emphasize that RS at the end, man. That shit is crazy, you know? Anthem was definitely a huge disappointment. Big. That one right there made us scared. I'm like, yo, BioWare, one more flop? You're fucking done. EA is unscrupulous, man. They will murder a studio just cuz, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Dre, what's your take on Anthem, man, and all that reception and all that shit?
I dug the beta. I was like, okay, this is cool. We'll see what they're going to go with this. And then when the game came out, I didn't even buy the game. I went to my buddy's house and played. I was like, ooh, what? I see what the vision was. I'm like, okay, I see what they were trying to do. It just didn't do it. It was like, okay, you're building up like, okay, man, this is gonna be good, and then all of a sudden it's just like, wait a minute, what happened? It's like, what happened?
My thing was I didn't see the point, like the story and all that. I'm like, what am I even doing here? You know,
this is the problem. I'm gonna get a lot of flack from.
Keep it real, man. It's Throwdown, man.
Hit me up at New Otaku Man 5000. See, the thing is, I mean, okay, I like Destiny. I think Destiny was a good idea. To me, Destiny felt too much like Halo. But the more I played it, I got into it. I don't play it as much as I don't play as much as a lot of people do. I like that, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But now EA just wanted to make the next, Destiny. And I mean, they had the potential. I mean, I saw the vision. I'm like, okay, I see what they're trying to do. You're gonna fly around in mechs. You have to do it's all multiplayer. It's gonna be, the crazy bosses, crazy raids, blah blah blah. This is gonna be cool. I get what you're doing, but I think EA cut their budget. I think EA just was like, nah, we're done. EA knew that they were gonna make Destiny, so they're like, screw it, and they just let. I think they just let them go. They're just like, here, drop it and just do whatever. I think they just dropped the ball.
Yeah, what I find.
Really want to mess with it.
Yeah, one thing I want to say that I'm kind of paraphrasing our friend Cicero Holmes, right? He was saying that he didn't understand why EA was releasing this game, looter shooter, like 3 years after the looter shooter craze already went away. Like
right.
Destiny, it came out, blew the fuck up, and it was big for a long, long time, and we had a slew of imitators, right? But this game came out after the party had already ended. Like nobody's playing that shit right now. Motherfuckers are playing battle royale. That's the hotness right now. So it was kind of weird that this game just felt out of place like that.
Like they could have. I mean, they probably could redo, like, update some stuff and change a lot of stuff. They could probably throw a battle royale mode in it, and it would probably be okay after they fixed it. They just need if they worked on it a little bit more, maybe, I don't know. They could probably still save it or save some kind of face if they would just get in there and work on it. But I really think EA just was like, okay, we're done. I just, because the looting thing was a big deal. Like, that was a big deal with people. People were like, I don't want to pay for extra crap.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all that fucking
I don't want to pay this extra crap. I'm already paying for DLC. Dude, have you ever just looked at DLC? Go on PlayStation or go on PSN or the marketplace or eShop. And just look at DLC. Just look at pick a random game. Just look at DLC. Dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's all over the place, man. There's like more DLC than games.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I remember back in the day. I remember on the 360. I remember we were playing. Me and my buddy. We bought Rumble Roses because
old school, man. Yeah.
Check this out. If you add up, this is a long time ago. If you add up all the DLC to that game, it's like $1,000.
Damn.
Oh shit.
Yo, hold on. There was another game like that. I forgot what it was like. If you
there's a couple of games out there.
Like,
if you buy
Anthem,
Anthem had Adam. You're right. If you bought everything, how much was it, Adam?
If you bought every,
wait, say that again.
Yeah, if you bought every piece of DLC, it's like $1,000.
Like, yo,
Apex Legends?
That's like half a month's rent right there, yo. It's like that's crazy. Man, yeah. So Anthem, that's definitely one. Anybody else have anything to say? Chris, do you have any thoughts on Anthem?
Well, it was a disaster, and we saw that coming.
Yeah.
The stories coming out of that South studio, like that they didn't listen to any input they gave, any of their experience with previous kind of MMO and online RPGs, and BioWare just was like, we're not listening to you. What do you know? And then, look what happened. And right. And talk about like gaming blue balls, because the promise of that game and then what came out, holy crap, was like that is almost a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a disappointment, man.
I've said it. I said it right when Ray left BioWare after the whole Mass Effect 3 thing. After I talked to him about that, said, dude, you're creative. You guys made this game. And you let fans change your vision for this game. Wrong move. That was the wrong move. If you make a game, this is for anybody. If you make a game, you make music, whatever you create, if you create something and you follow through with your vision, if the people who supposedly support you don't like it, fuck them. Sorry.
Oh, man.
No, dude, learn how to code, make your own damn game. These people, there was a team of people who spent thousands of hours working on this. And just because you didn't like the ending, you boycotted them and wanted them to change it, and they went and did it? No. I'm sorry. No.
Not to start nothing, but I felt I felt that original ending was fucking terrible, and I'm glad they changed it. But that's just me.
No, the thing is, I mean, I was like, people liked it. I was like, you wind your way, you wind and moaned and cried and bitched and you finally got your way. Okay, whatever. I told him, I said, dude, that was the wrong move. Don't let the fans control you. This is not their vision. This is your vision. They followed you because they like what you did. Sorry. I'm sorry. You can't like everything. You're not gonna like everything, and you're not gonna make a creative change. A creative person change their. Man, come on, get out of here.
Yeah, but at the same time, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, people could vote with their wallets too. You know that's
fine. Then you learn. Then you learn. Make it a multiple ending thing or something. But when we talked about that, I said, dude, that is.
Yeah, but we're not trying to go down that rabbit hole right now.
Gotcha. My bad.
By the way, shout out to the Saltiest Gaming for hosting us right now, man. Appreciate that. He goes, love the show. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thanks a lot.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that.
Brian, got any thoughts on Anthem?
It looked cool. It had promise, but it just didn't live up to the promise. Yeah.
What was it really promising? It didn't look like it was promising much.
Right.
No, I mean in the beta was actually I was playing with some friends. It was actually kind of cool. I was actually enjoying it. I was like, man, this is kind of fun. Okay, I'm having fun with this. And then I just waited. The first couple of reviews came out. I was like,
Yep. It had plenty of promise, in terms of how the systems worked, and especially like the armors and how you can customize them and make them look different and all sorts. It had promise in that sense, but it just, again, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy. I didn't think it was deep enough. I felt like very surface level, and it didn't make much sense in some points. But I thought it had the potential to be quite fun. Nice third person open world game where you can fly around. You don't get many games like that.
The flying was good though. I'll admit that. The flying actually was pretty dope.
I thought the gameplay mechanics were pretty good.
Oh yeah. The actual mechanics of it, because it felt very much like Mass Effect, which were already really fucking good shooting mechanics. That was tight, but it's like the objectives and shit. It's like, hey, go fight this giant robot spider. I'm like, oh geez, I didn't already do that in Destiny 5 years ago. It's like shoot its legs for the weak spot. I'm like, okay, come on, man, fuck out of here. All right, man. Manny, what do you think was the biggest gaming story of the year?
The biggest game? Well, you already took mine. They already took. There's a Death Stranding one, but
you could add.
I'm gonna say. Let's see, what other gaming stuff that I want to say the same thing with the Death Stranding, where it's like, you came from that place where it was, all this horrible stuff happened, and then finally the guy actually got the game out, and not to mention, and did it in 3 years, shorter than the time that he did any single Metal Gear game. Usually Metal Gear games take about 5 years in between each other. This one he did in 3 because he wasn't developing an engine out of another new engine for the game. So I mean, I look forward to seeing what he's going to be doing. Hopefully, I to be honest, I haven't gotten very far in the game, but I don't think. Hopefully, we don't go down the road where we need to get another Death Stranding, because I don't feel like I feel like that's a big problem with the game industry, where essentially, they start tacking on sequels where they don't need to tack on any more sequels.
Yeah, I agree. I think Death Stranding is better served as a one and done. I want to see what else Kojima could do. We should say one of the reasons he got the game out so fast is because he didn't have to develop an engine from scratch. He just modified the Decima engine from Guerrilla Games.
Yeah, he just worked with the Guerrilla. I mean, because that's the best way to go. Like, why sit there and develop? I mean, he said he didn't want to have a team that was larger than 100 people, which he had about 100 people working on this game. So it's like, why bother going through the trouble of developing another engine when you can literally look at any one of the engines that Sony has running? You probably go with Unreal or any of the other ones and just use that. Yeah. And I think that was a smart move.
One thing I found interesting about the at least the modified version of the Decima engine, like the environments and all that other stuff looks like the Decima engine, right? It looks like stuff from Outer Horizon. But weirdly enough, the characters, right? They look like they were Fox engine, that kind of had that look to them, which is very, very interesting.
Well, I mean, a lot of those assets.
You probably couldn't use any of those assets, but the thing is that he was using a lot of photogrammetry in this game, to essentially get to the point where they need, they instead of having to constantly model everything, you just essentially took photogrammetry photos of all the actors, the clothes, and all that other stuff, and then worked from there.
Is that the name for it?
Photogrammetry, yeah.
Photogrammetry, okay.
Yeah, essentially, it's like whenever you take a photo of somebody or something, and then essentially create a 3D model from it. In fact, that's what all the RE engine does too.
Yeah,
what they've been doing with that, where they're not really modeling new characters; they're literally just taking, hiring actors to play these roles and just taking 3D models of them in the games.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the RE engine in a bit. Chris.
I think the biggest news story that came out this year is all the bullshit with Blizzard and Activision.
Yeah.
I mean, pick one. Pick the layoffs. This is, at the same time they were ramping up like the studios for Call of Duty and whatever. They laid off 800 people from Blizzard, right? They cut support for like Heroes of the Storm, like Carlos's favorite game.
Yeah, right.
They cut their esports team. They fired all those guys on the spot. That's some bullshit. And then to cap that off, then that guy, that esports guy for Hearthstone says free Hong Kong. They pull his prize money and just show how much they bent over for China. So I mean, it's just like Blizzard can go in the trash at this point. I think that was complete bullshit. I don't give a shit who you're taking money from or whatever. Like, if somebody wins a tournament and he says whatever he wants, like, he could say whatever he wants. You could penalize him, so don't pull his prize money and don't write a sappy apology to the government of Hong Kong, like fucking bending over. Then move over there. Don't operate out of here if you're gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Activision is trash. I think Bobby Kotick's trash. I think Blizzard is trash. That to me, like, just how shitty they were and how greedy they were is just that capped off the year for me.
Yeah, that was bad because, like, obviously the whole thing with Hong Kong was going on this year, but for us, our gaming wheelhouse, it definitely was the whole thing with Activision and all that. And also, just a little bit of a side note, I talked about this on air before. How basically during the week where everything was going like big, right? Like, the whole story was blowing up. They were gonna have an Overwatch event right here in New York City, for the Nintendo store for the launch of Overwatch on Switch, right? I had already been booked for a month, ready to go, right? The day before I was supposed to go, they canceled the event. And you know how I found out about it? Through Twitter. I didn't even get an email until the next day. He's like, don't bother showing up. Like, damn, this is wild shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Dre, what's your thoughts on the whole, Activision, fucking Blizzard, Hong Kong shit,
I mean, I don't agree with what they did. The thing is, I'm half boycotting them, but it's like, I just don't understand. I never understood the Activision Blizzard partnership from day one. I didn't understand their whole thing. I mean, the companies run things two totally separate ways. Why in the hell are you joining forces? I didn't understand that. And
money,
then,
that's why,
No, even if the thing about it is, they didn't need to. Even with the money, they each had their own. They had enough money both separately to do exactly what they did collectively. They didn't have to do that. But then they tried it. Then, Wizards. I mean, the Blizzard was they were a little bit money hungry, little bit, not like Activision. But then Activision, they just started taking their model and incorporating it with them. And I'm like, wait a minute, you just basically formed Activision. You just formed the bigger division of Activision, because all you did was just implement all your little sneaky tactics and let Blizzard just go ahead and you do the same thing we did and watch and see what happens. And it's like, no, but Activision that has a history of laying off, from decades. Like, they're notorious for it. And it's just, I don't understand. I mean, it's terrible.
It was only a matter of time before it happened. When they first did their little merger thing, they're like, Blizzard will be Blizzard and Activision will be Activision. And they're working
nobody
together.
believed that shit.
I called bullshit on that first day. I was like, this is Activision. You guys you like absorbing everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get out of here.
And then how long
Get out
did it take before they marched out at BlizzCon and their highlight is a Diablo mobile game?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh man, yeah, last year that was one of the biggest stories of last year. We talked about that. Oh man. By the way, completely random. Optimus Prime is trending on Twitter. Oh
What?
man, because some
Oh,
guy, because some guy asked who was better, him or Captain America as a leader. Twitter is weird, man.
Really?
It's obviously Optimus Prime.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's no contest.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, man. Anyway,
I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah. Let's move on. Brian, man, what would you think was the biggest gaming story of the year?
I guess the rise and the fall, and then the trip all the way down to the edge of non-existence. Stadia. Like that thing came and went so fast that no one even remembers it anymore. Like, is that like 2 months ago? Like
Yo.
it had really good promise. It had, again, promise, meaning that they promised lots of things. But I think this is just one of those things where they promised way too much and they couldn't even deliver on a sliver of it. Like, it didn't have the games at launch. It didn't work well at launch. It ran worse at launch. The features that they wanted to have aren't even there. And so it's like, why? Like it seems more like a alpha. Like, hey, we have this idea. Here are some boxes that plug into your cables, and they do something. We don't know what yet, but here you go. Pay us like however much it costs. And yeah, I think it's just a really wasted opportunity for Google. Like, I'm surprised that it was so half-assed. Quarter-assed, let's say. It's
Yeah,
just,
not
I
even
don't know.
half.
Yeah, it's just really disappointing. Like this is Google. Like Google, like the biggest company in the world. Like you you'd expect something better given the resources, the manpower that they have, but no, it just turned out to be really bad.
I
I'm
mean,
surprised at that.
really, does that surprise you? I mean, come
Yeah,
on,
because it's
like
Google.
Google. Most things that are not Google or YouTube kind of crash and burn that they make. Like what happened to Google Plus, the answer to Facebook? That shit crashed and burned. And there's a bunch of other projects that just kind of fell apart too.
But then I would expect that they would take that knowledge and come together and say, okay, these things have failed for these reasons. These things are succeeding for these reasons. Let's pull together our manpower and make this thing work. Like, that's why I'm disappointed. It's like PlayStation coming out with like a knife gummed onto like a fork and saying, "Hey, this is the new invention." It's like, look, no, it's not. It's terrible.
Stadia,
what is this?
Stadia was to be honest, Stadia was destined to fail. To be honest,
Can we just address the elephant in the room, Manny?
Oh my God.
Why was it
come
destined
on.
to fail?
Why the biggest sign of failure?
Yo, Dre, get ready.
They fucking hired Phil Harrison.
The cursed man.
The cursed man. Like literally every single thing he has touched or been around has kind of fallen apart. Let's talk about PlayStation 3. Bam. PlayStation 3 was horrible. He left that. Atari. He went to Atari. That one fell apart. He was at Xbox during the
launch.
during that specific launch. You know, the TV launch. The guy is cursed.
Yeah, like whatever the Midas touch is, he has the opposite of it. You know.
He doesn't have the
minus.
glove when you got
It's the minus touch. That's what that is.
He was.
It's
Here's
the
the only.
minus touch,
Here's
not
the
the
only.
minus.
Here's the only thing.
The minus touch. Oh,
It's the minus touch.
Here's the only thing. Here's the only thing that he was a part of that did actually go somewhere. He was part of Gaikai before he had after Microsoft. So eventually, Gaikai got bought by them, and then he just, I guess, left or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Dre, what's your thoughts on Stadia, bro?
Man, I'm in a really tough position. I am with a lot of, well, not a lot of them. About 20% of the people who are worked on the Stadia, so I'm not gonna bash it too much. I'm waiting for something to. I can really just I'm just waiting for something to happen. If you're gonna announce that it's not gonna do what you got to come up with something. You got to say something. it's sad that I know people that are working on stuff with the system. They're working on some. I'm sorry, this platform. They're working on stuff with this platform. Working ass. So unfortunate. I don't even know if they're gonna. These people. I mean, these people have been working on this thing for. And it's just, I just don't know what to. Like, I don't want to be negative about it, but I don't know what to tell them. I just don't know what to say. It's just, I feel so bad because these people are really good friends of mine, and they really work their ass. These are dedicated people, and I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what's going. I don't know what's going to happen. They've this window.
It was a rush.
This window, they got to figure out something this window because, I mean, the consumer support's already dropped 75%. That's what I read the other day. And it's like, you gotta someone's got to come out of this smoke and mirrors, man. Somebody's got to come out. Someone's got to come out.
I think the thing about it is, I mean, officially, I don't think it's any, like, despite, obviously they're working their asses off. And just, the thing about a lot of things, a lot of people work their asses off on these things, and it's usually bad decisions at the top that cause that sort of horrible trickle down effect and cause people to kind of have to work their asses off. It's somebody at the top that said, no, we want it this time, but wait, no, this is not ready yet,
Somebody's got to say something. I
think with a lot of things, like what usually happens is, like, there's one guy out there, in the company, maybe a bunch of people said, hey, listen, this shit is not ready. We can't have this come out on that release date. No, but we have a release date and we need to get it out by then.
Get it out by November. Yeah.
They really shouldn't. They really shouldn't had a hard release date on that thing. They should have probably baited it, like the way that actually Sony did with their system.
Did they even have a beta for this shit
now? Yeah. The way Microsoft is doing it now with xCloud.
It was really a small one.
Yeah,
they needed to have a bigger one, especially Google.
Like
I don't understand. They have a tremendous R&D department. I don't know that's why I'm just so flabbergasted about this whole thing. I'm like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
We need to know what happened. What happened? Is there a curtain somewhere on Earth with this is what's really going on? Okay, somebody needs to tell something because this is I don't know, man. It's the story that kind of didn't. You're like waiting for the story, and it's like, hey, we're gonna start reading, and then you read the story, and like halfway through, you're like, okay, we're done. Wait a minute, what's the rest of the story? Where's the rest of it? And
I feel like we're obviously. I feel like it needs to be a while off before we actually really, really hear about what actually happened. Because to be honest, if any of that sort of stuff came out while they're still trying to get this thing going, it also would hurt their hurt any sort of business. So, like, releasing the whole why it all failed, like it's too early for that.
Yeah, we're gonna get that.
Too early for that.
We're gonna get that later on.
It's bad
unless Jason Schreier goes in there and figures some shit out.
I mean, it's bad. It's bad that Google Fi was a afterthought project, and it's actually more successful than the Stadia is. I mean, and that's just another phone system out of it ties all your Google phone. It ties your Google phone together. But I'm like, that's even a bigger success than Stadia. And Stadia, you guys pumped a ton of money into this. I don't even know the numbers. I just know it's a lot. And it's a tremendous amount of money. And I'm like, come on. I mean, I still have some kind of hope that something's gonna happen. I got friends who use it, and it's like, okay, this is cool, and I think Paris talked about it on
he did
radio, and he didn't even actually he borrowed it from a friend, and I'm like, man, if you can't even give it away, dude. I mean, come on, man, that's terrible. I mean, I hope something happens, man. I hope something happens. Somebody got to come up with. Somebody's got to say something, because this might go down as like one of the baddest gaming
launches.
stories.
Yeah, and Dre, you would know. You've seen most gaming launches.
I've seen some vaporware for real. and I'm like, vapor. You knew it was vaporware from the get go. You're like, man, but you're hoping, yeah, this is gonna happen. No, it didn't.
Yeah, here's what I said this on Throwdown before. I think streaming games and stuff will become the main thing, but not anytime soon. Not maybe, at the earliest, maybe 10 years from now, right? But like, like think about this. If you're a kid that grows up with this shit, you're gonna be like, why would I want to buy a game, carte blanche when I could just have them all down there? But for now, the way things are in America, nah, man, that shit ain't working. And Google Stadia is proof of that. Like you said, Brian, no one's even talking about this shit anymore. Nobody. Remember, everybody was talking about this shit. Now it's just gone. Nobody's talking about this shit.
I was talking to a Japanese developer a couple of years ago, and we were talking about, because they were talking about, well, man, hey, you're ready to launch a mobile. Like, why? Well, we're gonna launch it only. Oh, okay, I get it, because there's more cell phone. And he said, I said, you're gonna bring it out to the States? He goes, no, we're actually gonna make a console version. Like, really? He goes, yeah, because in America, because we know Americans love their console. And I was like, damn, is it like that? He goes, he said Japan could never make another console starting in 2020 and be fine. The gaming industry will still strive in Japan without a dedicated console. But the Western world, they have to have a console. I was like, okay, I get it. And I think that's what it is. Americans want consoles. You gotta have. Give me a box. Plug it into a box. Yes, if it streams, that's great. But I don't think you think about it. PlayStation Now was a great idea, but nobody cared until it dropped the price. Now you look at Game Pass and stuff like that. You're like, okay, now it makes sense to people.
But even then they're not streaming everything, and that's
I don't. Like I said, this is something that's people are like, oh, this is cool. I'm not gonna mess with it right now.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna get my PS4 and go on with my business.
I just want to address a quick comment from Mighty Nerd. What's going on, Mighty Nerd? He says, "You guys forget Sony did it first with PlayStation Now. No, OnLive did it first.
They didn't do it first.
OnLive did it first.
Gaikai was the third man down.
Yeah, OnLive was still a box. You still had a box.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
I know it's a box, but it's still a console. So you still had to use that device to get it to work. So it's still, streaming. I believe game streaming is the future.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's cool now that you can do it. You have a few devices you can do stuff on. That's awesome. I didn't understand the whole play anything with Microsoft. I've told you guys that. I didn't think it wasn't my cup of tea. It's still kind of not, but I like the fact that Game Pass, that Game Pass is killing it. So I get the appeal, but Stadia. If you come out with it, if Google just came out with a box, boom, stream from here, that'd have been it.
The first, there was so many questions with that thing. Like,
right.
okay, how does this controller attack? Oh, well, it goes to it sends a signal to here, and then it sends it to the thing. I'm like, wait, so you're telling me that there's nothing that it's going to? It's literally connected. Your controller is connecting online to control this game. This doesn't make any sort of sense. In no world today does that sort of idea even make any sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To be the main thing you want to talk, like if you want to attract, and this is what they were going for, they wanted to attract gamers. They were not giving gamers any sort of inkling as to how the experience would really be. And that silly stage show was just a bunch of bullshit, because that's just happening inside of a closed environment,
yeah,
a controlled environment. I'm like,
see,
this doesn't tell me. This doesn't tell me a damn thing. How are we going to get? How do you get gamers to put down their consoles and move on to something else? You put something on there that they really want to play. You make it so that when they actually play the damn games, that the games can actually work as they want a game to work, not like some jittery video.
Yeah, I need to jump on that real quick. And that was also the other problem, right? All the games that were on Stadia were already available. So it's like you're basically telling people, okay, would you rather play the game natively on whatever system you have with no fucking lag and latency, or play a shitty 720p version with latency and lag? It's like, come on, it's stupid. Remember with the launch games, it was like 12 games, right? 3 of them, that's a quarter Tomb Raider games. It's like, Everybody play these fucking games.
all the Tomb Raider games, the last year's Assassin's Creed game, all those games. In fact, like some of those games are actually available on Switch, and I know people are buying the Switch version more than they're going to go for that Stadia version.
Those Switch versions play better because they're not fucking laggy.
And not to mention, you have to pay for the Stadia service as well as buy the fucking games.
Hold on, I just want to stop right now. Think about that, people. You have to pay $60 for a digital fucking, not even a digital. Okay, it's one thing to pay $60 for a digital game. This is $60 for a streaming fucking game. Think about how insane that is.
That you really don't technically. I guess you technically own it, but how do you own it?
No, you don't own it.
You don't own shit.
I mean, how do you?
You're paying a licensing fee. That's what you're doing. That's like Photoshop. That's like Photoshop right now. You're paying a license fee. You don't own it.
Yeah. Yo, GZR says 1080i. It barely even got to that sometimes. And remember, they promised 4K. Hey. They promised 4K, Do
you remember, what it reminds me of is the Wii U announcement.
How so?
Remember? Because the thing is, I remember watching the Wii U streaming when they did, when they did the Nintendo put out the Wii U presentation.
Yeah, you mean where everybody was confused?
Me and my buddies were looking in the back. We're like, hey, there's a console right there. It's back there. It's behind see the console? And they're like, oh, dude, what is that? That's the console. Well, it's the tablet. No. Check that little box back in it. Now, I'm on record saying that. Look, in the back, there's a console. That's what the Wii U is. The gamepad is just a device. They're like, no, it's not. I said, why?
Yeah,
I had to explain that to people. I had to explain. I had to basically make a presentation to people, and I said, "This is basically the terrible marketing all over again."
Yeah, Chris has a story about this. Yeah,
you didn't tell people what it was. I'm like, that's what it is.
Yeah, internally, I was there when they showed the Wii U, and I went to our head of PR at the time. I was like, aren't people going to get confused? You're only showing them the gamepad? And they're like, no, our strategy is the focus is the gamepad. Don't worry, we'll explain everything afterwards. And that completely blew up afterwards. Everybody thought, oh shit, Nintendo made a tablet. And I'm like, see, there it is.
I remember Manny and I were, we weren't at it, but we were watching it, and we both asked the same question almost at the same time. We were like, where's the console? Because we knew that thing wasn't a console. We knew it was a controller. Like, where's the console? And then I remember, not to go down the Wii U rabbit hole, but I remember a year later during Christmas, they pretty much relaunched the system and re-advertised like it's not an accessory to the Wii. It's a new console. Like,
they came out with a video.
That show you first launched it.
They came out with a video, and it was actually explaining it. I'm like, oh my God.
A year later, Dre. A year later.
I was like, I saw the video and I was like, oh.
Shit is wild,
it's like,
bro.
It's confusing branding. It's confusing. It's just not the way it is.
I mean, they did it with the 3DS.
Like the marketing team.
Yeah.
I mean,
3DS.
The marketing teams as Google has to be kicking themselves in.
Yo, Phil Harrison, man.
You gotta do your history, guys.
Phil Harrison. Anyway, so I got a couple other things we could talk about that I felt were notable. We got to talk about Apex Legends, man. That was a huge surprise at the beginning of the year. Like, the game just came out of nowhere. It blew the fuck up, started making a bunch of money, but kind of like Google Stadia, it dropped off the radar really fast. Because there was a point where people were like, oh shit, this thing's gonna overcome Fortnite, right? But the problem was they didn't come with the updates like Fortnite. Fortnite's always happened shit. Apex Legends wasn't able. Don't get me wrong. There's still an audience for Apex Legends. The game is still doing well, but it wasn't like. Remember, there was like a good 2 weeks or so where it was like the hottest fucking game on earth.
Because it was free and it had that Titanfall feel and. Yeah, new hotness, but it's all right.
Titanfall feel? You mean that it's part of the Titanfall universe?
I don't believe that. I don't accept it. And I don't believe it. Max in it, it's not part of the universe. Come on, I've cut the bullshit.
Yeah, so that was a big story from at the beginning of the year. And then another one, this one, I almost forgot about this. Bungie is free of Microsoft. They're independent now.
That's right.
Which is the huge shock, because they were always associated with Microsoft, Obviously, Halo is not going to go third party. You don't have to worry about that.
You mean Activision?
No. We're we're talking about Bungie here.
Yeah,
Wait,
that
that was
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Who the
they
fuck am I thinking
divested
about?
from
Yeah,
Activision.
you're right.
Yeah.
I wrote it, Microsoft. That
Yeah,
lets
you
you know.
think of way back.
Does you know how fucking old I
man,
am.
what?
Way
Yo, man, we
back. It was
going back in time now?
1964 on a Thursday.
But Activision, I believe, still owns Destiny, right?
No, they don't.
No,
Very
Bungie
interesting.
owns the rights to everything. That's all
that was the big deal. They were able to leave and take Destiny with them, and that's why they relaunched Destiny 2.
Oh, you know what? You're right about
Yeah.
that because people are now saying that Destiny 2 has gotten way better, and the theory is that it's because they're no longer under Activision's thumb. You know, so yeah, that's pretty big right there. So it's kind of interesting. Like Bungie, they went independent right from Microsoft, then they went independent from Activision. So they're their own studio now, which is pretty...
the only caveat to all this thing. You want to know how they got independent?
Say it.
China, baby.
There you go. Tencent.
Yeah, that's right.
Tencent money.
It's the same people that invested in what's those guys? Isn't it?
In Epic.
An Epic, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Epic
that's
Game
right,
Store.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Epic and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Shit is
very
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. Yeah, China, man, shit. I'm not gonna get into that. Taking over the world, man. I'm just saying. Where the fuck are we? Here's another one. This happened relatively recently. There's a new Half-Life coming out. Who would have thought? You know,
No.
Valve is coming out with a
That don't
game.
count.
No, it don't count.
That don't count, man.
But Adam, it's still significant that Valve is making a game. They haven't made shit in
Yeah.
years. You know. So that's pretty big. It's going to be a VR game, and people are actually re-excited for VR again after that game. We'll see what happens, but it's still not Half-Life 3. That's the shit people really want, you know.
Unless there's some kind of Easter egg or something happens at the end where they announce that they're doing an actual Half-Life game. I don't count this.
Yeah, but it's still news regardless.
No, it's still news. It's news. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Another thing that was a big deal, even though this didn't affect us, we don't play this game. The Fortnite black hole. Remember that? With Fortnite for 3 days, if you try to log in, all you see was a black hole. Children around America were heartbroken that they couldn't play Fortnite for a bunch of days.
God.
You know. And I'll be honest, what the fuck was it about? It was just a relaunch, right, for season 2 or something.
They introduced a new map. It was a new map and those type of things.
Some new vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they made it into a big deal, you know.
It was smart advertising.
Well, how do you get it's kind of a ballsy move. It's
take it away.
I mean,
because there was some site that broke down that they made $200,000 a day in just microtransactions and sales and stuff. They were losing money per day that they did that.
But the thing is that, they're making so much money that they could literally just turn the shit off and then turn it right back on again.
right. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that was big, and then some E3 stuff that I want to talk about. The Keanu Reeves thing, that was really cool, a lot of fun. You could tell he was kind of nervous, but he was also having fun. And Ikumi Nakamura, she became a star because of E3, basically.
Did you see the video?
Which one?
Online? There's a video and they show behind the scenes stuff. I think it was Microsoft released it where they follow Keanu Reeves from
I didn't see that.
That's the whole thing. And he was nervous. He was like, "Oh, I can't believe this happened. No one knows I'm here." And he does the whole thing until he comes out. The reaction, how he went off script because he did the rehearsal and he said everything was fine. And then when he came out for a second, he said he almost started crying.
Damn, it's like that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I think I said it. Yeah, awesome.
No,
it's really cool. It's really cool. He got all emotional about it. He was like, "It's one thing when you do that in front of at an award show for movies and stuff because they're all industry people.
Yeah, stuff.
And it's another thing when you do it in front of the fans and to hear people screaming, "We love you," and doing all the hoop and hollering and stuff, and it hit him. It hit him hard.
What was the line again?
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. Yeah, no, you're breathtaking.
Yeah, that was dope. That was cool. Also, what's his face is John Bernthal's dog. I like the dog. Dog was cool. And then this one's a little bit sad, but I got to do it because we liked the guy. He was entertaining to us. Attica passing away, that was pretty sad. And we talked about it in the show. It's like nobody really. I don't know if the guy sought our help, but it's just kind of crazy, man. You talked about it. It's like people see this shit happening in real time, and nobody could do anything about it.
Nope. He was literally falling apart right in front of everybody's eyes, and no matter how much people tried to do to stop him, he still ended up doing it. And he was in the hospital. He was in, he was, the police had him, and they just kept letting him go. And that's kind of like this is Etika, the YouTuber.
Oh yeah.
He's essentially falling apart right in front of everybody. But the thing about it is that the thing about mental stuff is that it's like, it's not only just just people saying that you are, but it's also you trying to also admitting that you also have issues as well. Yeah. So it's like, he probably didn't think, he thought he was perfectly fine. He thought everything was cool. And that was the problem,
Yeah, so that's pretty sad.
That's why everybody, that's why I know it sounds a lot of people, especially, in our communities, man, we don't talk about it. You don't talk about that. Nope. Gotta get on it, man.
Nope. Sorry. Nobody. It's one of those. The one thing about mental disorder, and it's sad because you could have the worst disease on the planet, right? But the minute that you get pegged as, or you something like this happens to you, you're acting weird, or somebody's acting weird, and the people just excommunicate you because they don't want to deal with that,
Yeah. By the way, when Andre said our communities, he wasn't about the gaming community. Let's just be real here.
Oh no, I was being real. Yeah.
I mean, you like Andre. Everybody knows what you're talking about. It's like
so much due to stigma, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, rest in peace to Etika, man. I'll just say that. Before we move on to the next segment, any other stories you guys want to quickly talk about?
Well, there's one that you and I will probably be talking about for the 3 or 4 months.
Oh, Panzer Dragoon, man. That was fucking amazing, man. That was a highlight, That was a highlight for sure. All right, let's move on. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there's a couple. There was a lot of bigwigs either retired or stepped out of the industry. That's right.
We have to talk about this right now.
The beginning of the year, man.
No, so Kaz Hirai retired, right? Mm-hmm. Sean Layton left. I put big air quotes. Sean Layton left Sony. Don't know what happened there. Reggie retired from Nintendo. Like there's some big people leaving, and then Shuhei Yoshida stepped back to do. He heads up indie stuff. Like and Jim Ryan also got named as president of all Sony Interactive.
And Gio Corsi leaving, and
that's right.
And before him, what's his face? The blonde-haired guy. I can't remember. He's Iron Galaxy now.
And who am I? Mike Ybarra.
That's right.
Going to Blizzard of all places, man.
Yeah, Mike Ybarra, you picked the wrong time, bro. You picked the wrong time. Chris, go on, man. Any other things you got?
There was. I think there was some major acquisitions. So Sony officially bought Insomniac. Mm-hmm. That was this year. Microsoft bought Double Fine. They bought Double Fine this year.
They got Double Fine.
I forgot about that.
And they got Ninja Theory.
They got Ninja Theory, right? So there were some big studio acquisitions, right? They put them under there. I don't know.
By the way, shout out to GZR. So I guess some of the guys are joining us late. Shout out to Sketch as well. We talked about we talked about Ikumi Nakamura. We talked about her. Doom Mobile. Right. The Hong Kong protests. We talked about that. Yeah. He said, I just got to say it. The YouTube girl that was selling her bath water. Remember that?
Oh shit!
Bath water.
Oh my god, yo! Like,
is she still doing that?
I don't know if she is, but I'm like, yo, the guys are quite literally thirsty. If you got to buy some chick's bath water,
I mean, you said that back in the day, but I'm like, man, I'm paying for that shit. Crazy.
It's funny when you like thinking about that. If you think about it, in Jeff Stranding, right? One of his weapons is his bath water.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
he literally throw bath water at the fucking monsters.
I have things to say about that, but I'll let it go. Mike Ibarra shitting on Xbox on Twitter. Did he shit on Xbox?
Really?
I didn't see that Glorious War.
When is this? We gotta put this up.
I don't remember that.
She said the girl's doing gravure. I don't know what the hell that is. All right. Anyway, any other stories you guys want to bring up real quick? Going once, going twice.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Sold.
We got the Fallout 76 with the subscription model.
Fallout 76 will never stop being a tragedy.
Yeah,
like we'll be talking about it next year.
Yeah, we talked about it last year. We're talking about it this year. Yeah, you're right. Next year it'll be the same thing.
Did people even sub? Did they even announce the numbers when that went live? Like,
I don't even know, man.
I don't know.
Fallout
Nobody
76,
cares.
like, oh man. There's
Well, you know,
76
I say that, and then the one person comes out of woodwork. Please don't play that game. It's the greatest thing ever.
there's always
Brett, you know.
You don't play that shit.
All right, man. Let's get to the fun stuff here. We're now going to talk about our favorite games of the year, people. So we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna list our, just 3 each. We're gonna go down the line, and then after that, we're gonna talk about the one game that's our biggest disappointment of the year. Dun, dun, dun. And then, of course, we'll throw in other games that we may have missed. So I'm going to go down the line here. I'm going to start with Andre first. What are your top 3 games of 2019, man? And remember, 2019, Dre, don't fuck up like last time, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. Dude, I was all over the place last.
Dre was like, yo, man, I played God of War and Spider-Man. Like, yo, that's last year.
I named some crazy stuff. I was like, what the? I was
yeah, you were like, Forza. I'm like, there was no Forza this year, man. You know?
Sekiro.
All right, game of the year,
I'm really about Luigi's. I don't know, man. My Switch, man. I've been playing the hell out of my Switch.
Did you get your
my
email?
friend Pedro?
Did you get your email today?
Yo, hold up. Don't fuck it up. Okay.
This is it. This is part of it.
Okay.
Did you get your email from Nintendo? That gives you your stats today.
Oh yeah. Actually, I found there's a link you can actually go to on Nintendo's website, and
and then it would do it that way.
It automatically goes up to it. If you're
that'll answer your question right there for you because it lists the top 3 games.
Yeah, I played. Those are the ones that you get to. The top 3 games are the ones you played this year.
Yeah, the top 3 games that you played this year.
Well, mine's put the same for both.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Mine's only did it for this year.
Yeah, Sekiro. My friend Pedro.
Yeah, just quickly tell us why you liked each game. What was it about Sekiro that you liked?
Sekiro was it's a game I've been waiting on, and it finally happened. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I've been. It's just From Software great. It's just From Software great. I'm a big fan of From Software, no matter what. It kind of reminded me of a Togi.
Oh shit, bringing it back, damn.
It kind of, I was like, man, they kind of took some stuff from a Togi and brought it back. It's, Link's Awakening was just an amazing.
I still got to play that.
My friend Pedro that's like my favorite indie game of this year.
Adam loves that shit.
Shit is that dude. You just really have to let your mind go and play that game. That game is just so much fun. And the whole trial and error shit.
Kick the head at your enemies. Awesome.
The whole trial and error shit with that game. It's
the music, the soundtrack.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. And the game just gets weird, but it's fun. You're like, it's just fun, dude. The gameplay is so tight that you will try to do stuff and you have to like calm down. You're trying to do all this crazy flipping stuff. You have to realize that you gotta be simple. Sometimes you just have to do the move and don't try to get all flashy with it. It was just one of my favorite games.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I played the hell out of that game.
Audrey, you were like, free your mind and the rest will follow.
No, because you can't. The thing is, that game, because you know how people are. You know how people, you know how we do. We overthink things when we're playing.
Yeah.
What is? Don't even do that. Just go. Just
instinct. You got to go.
It introduced so many new mechanics. That whole 360 spinning, dodging bullets, and shooting at the same time.
And then when you slow down, and then you spin, and then you do the ricochet shots. That's when you have to, because it's almost like a puzzle game.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of puzzle elements.
There's a lot of puzzling to it. Because you're like, how am I going to do this? And then you have to, and it's like I said, it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
But dude. It's on Game Pass right now. You got an Xbox, PC.
Play it.
it's only, I think it's like $15. Just play it, dude.
Get it,
It's
play
fun.
it, live
It's
it.
fun.
Live it.
It's fun.
Live it.
Because and I'll tell you, and the game just
It's
gets
true. It's true.
It
When I
gets
did my review,
weirder.
I had to tell people, yo, you're not a banana. Cut the
The
bullshit.
game it's weirder and weirder toward the, you're like, what in the fuck? And then you just have to start laughing.
Get it, live it, learn it, love it.
Yep, read the dialogue,
just so
read the
much
story.
What's
going on? It's
Yeah, man. I mean, that was that was my favorite game. I mean, I liked
Yeah, you could throw some honorable mentions in there. You know,
Vasara Collection. I'm a shoot 'em up guy. I love that. Gradius 5. The director's cut finally came out on Switch this year, which was awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was
dope. All right, Adam. Top 3 games of 2019.
all right. Well, right there, my friend Pedro, freaking awesome. And I always constantly tell people, even after I did the review or something, like, oh, that's a banana game. You're a banana. No, you're not a fucking banana. You're not a banana. It's his imaginary friend. He had some issues. He got his ass whooped, and then his banana friend is helping him do all this shit. It's just amazing. It had
it's
a lot
so
of
fucking fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. There's all kinds of stuff going on with the dialogue and the story and how he starts reminding you all the things that you can do, and all these cool mechanics. It sort of has a bunch of elevator action elements, but like in a modern take on it, because there's different. Yeah, there's different freight elevators that you're taking, and then you have to like jump off the side, grab on the rope, and do slow-mo so you can shoot from both sides. You got this kick-ass music playing the whole time. You're
all
really
right,
feeling.
Did you get a Rolling Thunder vibe while you're playing it? Like
I got all kinds of vibes. I was like, I got that. I got Max Payne.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, I was playing it the other day, and I was like, man, they took some Rolling Thunder elements in this.
Oh yeah,
like, my god, dude, it was so good.
Game, such a good game. So that's on my list. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Their take, badass. The story, the serious approach they took to everything, and all the new elements that they incorporated, new to the franchise. There's a lot of the things that they took were from like Rainbow Six of shooting through walls and doors, and the tight quarters and stuff. But still, Call of Duty trying to make it more realistic, cut away from all the Michael Bay big epic stuff. It had some of that, but not too over the top. Your guy wasn't pulling a Mission Impossible, flying off of planes and hanging off the side of buildings and everything. That one. And then, of course, Gears of War. It's just
Gears
the way
5,
they put it all together. Yeah, Gears. Yeah, Gears. That's right. We just got
because remember, it's Gears 5 now.
Yeah, no more Gears of War. Yeah, Gears 5.
They don't fight any wars anymore. They're just Gears now.
It's just, but it's something about that. I don't know. I guess it's because it's just a franchise that's close to my heart. So, and I still enjoy playing it and just running around. And that chainsaw, it never gets old. Just taking that chainsaw and seeing the camera zooming in, blood squirting on the screen. Or when you do a chainsaw battle and they do the sparks, you're like, oh, if you could just pause it and just look at your characters' faces, like all the detail they put into it, of like the screaming, like, oh, it's so good, so good. So those are my 3.
Cool. Manny, top 3 games of 2019, and it had to be games that came out in 2019.
No, I mean, I haven't had any rollover this year.
Okay, that's good.
All the games that I did,
games, man.
All the games that I did play were games that were released this year. So I'm going to first say, I'm also looking at what I played. I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 3. Had a really good time with that one. That's a game that doesn't also get mentioned very much because it was the beginning of the year. Almost nobody remembers it anymore. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
Oh,
really
nice.
Really, really great game. It came out this year. It's probably the best time I had this probably the best time that I had all year, because there's just something about just having sort of a simple sort of game where it doesn't, and you have that general feeling of progression, where like, the more powerful that you get, the more just like things that you were just weak against, you're just wailing on, all the different, different hidden abilities that you can get. I put a lot of hours into that one. And then, I can't name Death Stranding because I haven't actually fully finished it. I'm still in the process of playing it. I'm probably going to finish it off this year. So I'm going to say just out of, just because it's on my because it's something that I actually did finish in here. I actually did a little something nostalgic. Earlier in the year, I actually did finish a game called Double Switch, which was a remake. It was a re-release of a game from back in the day
Sega
on the
CD?
Sega CD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's it was the 25th anniversary, and they just re-released it on PlayStation on all the consoles.
Everything.
So,
Yeah.
and I played it, and it was good to go back to that sort of idea of playing games. The game was actually really not that long. I would say about less than about an hour or
Had
less.
some big name actors, remember?
Yeah, it had Corey
Yeah.
Haim. It had Arlie Ermey in it.
Mhm.
And it had a couple of other, a lot of other character actors. Sad thing is that when the credits roll, you see how many of those actors are dead.
Oh man.
There's a big
that's
list.
depressing.
Like a lot of the characters, a lot of the actors that were in it had all passed away. Only a few of them are still left. So yeah, it was great to kind of go back to that sort of idea of playing those old sort of video. What do you call them?
FMV.
FMV sort of games. I always felt that Double Switch was probably the better of the FMV games because it wasn't like it seemed a little bit more interactive than something like a Night Trap.
Earlier today, I was playing one. I played Mad Dog McCree. Remember that?
Oh shit, bringing it back.
Mad
I
Dog
brought
McCree.
that back. I was like,
Damn.
you know what? Because I was like, damn, that was. I was just thinking about it while I was at work, and when I came home, I loaded it up. I put Mad Dog McCree. I remember that was kind of fun. Draw. You're a cowboy in a western and stuff.
Yeah. That game has seen so many different conversions. It's been on everything, so it's pretty fun. The only thing you can't do now with that game is play that with a gun. You can't play that with a light gun anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, that's my top for this year, and I'm working on Death Stranding right now.
Yeah, good stuff. Chris. Honorable mentions. Oh, we're gonna do worse later. Couple honorable mentions if you want.
Oh, honorable mention. I would have to say Ninja Saviors. Essentially they re-released an old game that came out for the arcades and Super Nintendo for PlayStation and everything else. And it's just a fun old beat 'em up. I finished that game not long ago too. Just nice to go back to that sort of idea where you didn't have to have these elaborate story things. You didn't have to do you didn't have a bunch of open world. It's just like with miles of nothing in between. It was just straightforward. Beat the shit out of everything, and then you win. Great stuff.
Nice.
Well, okay, go on.
Go ahead, Adam. No, go ahead, Adam.
Because with the mention World War Z, that was a fun one. That brought back that Left 4 Dead feel. That was awesome. So yeah,
nice.
Mention that.
All right, Chris, go ahead, Ben.
I'd say Resident Evil 2 is probably my game of the year. I love that game, man. I played the shit out of it. Got the platinum.
What?
Twice, right?
I did. No, Resident Evil 7 I platinum twice.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, shit, I check your shit at least once a week, and I did not see that.
No, I platinumed it back when like close to when it came out, so that's why. And number 2, I would say Death Stranding because I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I know it's weird, like Kristen constantly asks me what is happening, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm on a beach. Yeah, whatever.
So what you call me? Nothing. Game.
And number 3, I have to say, I'd have to say Luigi's Mansion.
Ooh.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's fun. And my honorable mention I'll give to Sekiro, because even though Sekiro frustrating as all hell with the pairing and shit, and it's not like a Dark Souls game at all, and it pisses me off, it's still a lot of fun and challenging, and you feel like a badass when you parry and you like counter some dude and you stab the shit out of him and just blood's like flying everywhere. It's just so satisfying. So I give Sekiro is good. It wasn't my game of the year, but it's good.
Nice. I'll go next. So basically, mine's, you already know my number one, Death Stranding. I've said it many times. It's a weird game because again, it's hard to quantify, but I can't stop playing it. I like rebuilding the roads, rebuilding all the the society and stuff. checking all the crazy gadgets that that you get and stuff. Again, I think I've put like 80 hours into this shit. And I was like, I can't stop playing it. It's crazy. So that game's a lot of fun. Number 2 is Resident Evil 2, which was my number 1 game for most of the year until Death Stranding came out. And you already know, man, like it's like a modern Resident Evil 4. It has those same kind of mechanics and stuff, just updated. But obviously has the Resident Evil 2 story, which is really cool. And that game reminded people why Mr. X was so fucking scary, man. Like when you're walking around, you hear those steps like fuck, like send them shivers down your spine, man. Crazy, Oh, hold up, man. Who says Techno Fabulous, man? Appreciate the cheers, brother. 1,000 cheers, man. So because of that, I got to give you this, man. Call of Duty.
For life.
All right, man. Let me give him a quick shout out here. Oh yeah, and then the last one, as Manny mentioned, Bloodstain, one of the few Kickstarter success stories, right? Or crowdfunding. I don't know if it was on Kickstarter. Game is fun, and I'm saying this as a person because I used to love me some Metroidvania back in the day, right? But I got sick of those fucking games thanks to indie games. Every fucking game's in Metroidvania. But this was the Metroidvania game that reminded me why I love the genre so much, man. That's another one. I'm still playing that shit now, trying to get everything. I already got 100% of the map. I'm still trying to get other shit. Will I get the platinum? Who knows? Will I get the platinum in Death Stranding? Who knows either? But I've been contemplating both of those people.
But are you working toward it? Sounds like you're just having fun with this.
I am having fun with it, but like what's happening? I'm having fun with it, but I'm keep getting trophies, So I'm like, okay, maybe.
I mean, the road for Death Stranding and Bloodstain are not that bad as far as platinum trophies go. Both of those games have the I would say maybe the Bloodstained one is a little bit more time consuming because it involves you having to create everything in the game, like use alchemy to make everything or most of the things you can make with alchemy.
Yeah. Oh shit! Look at that. Techno Fabulous rewarded like emojis or whatever the hell they're called on Twitch to 24 people in the chat. Awesome, man. Giving the love, man. Appreciate that. So yeah, those are my top 3. And then honorable mention, Control. That was the other big game of the Game Awards. I thought the game was fantastic. I like Remedy. Even though I haven't played Alan Wake, I really like Quantum Breaks, and this was Quantum Break with better because like you had more crazier powers and stuff. That's another game I want to go back and try to get the platinum because it doesn't seem too tough. Any game that lets you like do telekinetic shit, I'm all about. That was really dope. Do I have another one here? No,
I gotta go to Control next.
Control.
For some reason, he didn't like that one.
Control. All right, so that's me. And last but not least, I say Brian for last because he don't really play new games. So, did you play any new games this year that came out in 2019, the year of our Lord and Savior?
I did.
Oh, excuse me.
I did. I can actually qualify since technically like 8
You
hours
have a
ago.
Switch?
I can actually qualify.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Yeah,
I
go
played
ahead.
3 games that came out this year.
Whoa, hold on, people. Hold on, Brian. Let me soak that in real quick.
No, wait, actually 4 games.
Excuse me. All right, so list them, man. What you play?
So, the one I just finished now is called Greece. Greece or Gris? I can't remember because it's French. The one that came out at the very start of the year, like in January.
What'd you like about it?
I like the fact that it was just very relaxing. It's like a nice platformer. You can't really die, so it's like there's no pressure. There's no like weird time stuff. It's just like, hey, you just go on, you play for a while, you see how the story unfolds. It was really quite fun. Like I really enjoyed it. It's told an interesting story.
That's the one with the really nice animation in it, right?
Oh, it's really nice. Really, really nice. Yeah. It looks like you're playing a cartoon. Like that's how good it is. It's like, how is it like this? Like, how is this a game? It makes no sense. So yeah, I'd say that again, really fun. I really didn't think it was gonna be that good when I started playing it. I just thought that it's gonna be like another like indie game where stuff happens. I can't really spoil it, but yeah, it was really quite fun. Well, it really nice to play. I really enjoyed my time playing it. I guess is the word I'd use. Not really fun, really dire story, but hey. From there, I'd say Marvel vs. Capcom. Sorry, not Marvel vs. Capcom.
Ultimate
Marvel
Alliance.
Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Sorry.
fun.
Other things on the brain. Yeah, I'd say that came in because again, I'd always wanted like a sequel to number two because I'm like, hey, this is like a nice franchise. It's decent amount of gameplay. Like, it seems like it's a no-brainer, especially with the MCU being as big as it is. I was like, okay, so why don't we have one? So I was quite confused, and then we finally got it. Of course, it follows the Thanos storyline. It has some characters cut here and there. Some other characters pushed in for reasons, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. The art style was different, but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed my time there. I finished it. I replayed like the first third of it again, and then I put it down because I had to move on. Yeah, I think it gets a. Well, I think that it needs some sort of praise because I thought it was a good attempt. It should be better. Let's see how things go in the future. And lastly, it's my game of the year because I can't stop. I can't stop playing it apart from the one part, Astral Chain.
Nice.
It's Platinum Games. Like what else do you want? It's Platinum Games, and you play as a space cop. Well, as a cop in. Well, you play as a cop. You actually do like detective stuff in there, and it's Platinum Games stuff. It's pure anime. Like that's what it is. It's the most anime Platinum Games game I've played in a long while. It's just lovely.
It's awesome.
Like the ending is literally like a boss fight, and the anime music kicks in, then the soundtrack just kicks in. It's like, okay, we are doing this, aren't we? We are doing this. So I love that game. And honorable mention to Crackdown 3. It was fun, but just needed a bit more. Just needed a bit more things to get done. Really, it felt a bit empty, but still fun though.
Yeah. Joining us, Mr. Brett Murdoch, man.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Not much, man. Kind of a good. You kind of came at a good time. We were just about to move on to the most disappointing games we played this year, but let's back it up a little bit since you got here. Yeah. So, Brett, what is one gaming story that you felt was really big this year?
I don't know. Honestly, it's been kind of a dry year. Yeah, it's been kind of a dry year, and this year blends into last year, so you have to forgive me if my answer is a little bit muddled, but I would probably have to say, was it this year that Switch surpassed Xbox?
Yes.
I would say that is one of the biggest ones. To see Nintendo basically come out of hibernation, actually do something, and climb from just a desperate fail. I mean, they were on the brink of extinction. To see them rocket back to second place, even if it's Microsoft wasn't doing that great. Let's all be fucking honest. But to see them come out of obscurity and into second place, I mean, that's a fucking comeback story. That's an underdog story. It's fucking big. In all my years of gaming, I have not seen a move in the power structure that severe since Sega died.
Yeah, and so late in the generation too,
Yeah, it's they broke all the rules. They came out of nowhere, and against all odds, they managed to find huge critical success and a rabid fan base. And they've pretty much, if they're smart, locked in their strategy for the next 12 years. I mean, it may seem like quiet things, but that is, in hindsight, going to be a pretty landmark thing, in my opinion. When you look back and you're like, this is when Nintendo, I mean, even now when you look at it, when was the last time Nintendo really fucking wow? When you're like, dude, Nintendo is fucking killing it. It was like the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64.
I agree. Yeah. Super Nintendo was definitely the last time they were like up there like that.
So it's big. And how long ago was that? I mean, that's
25 years. 25 years.
That's a generation. There's a whole section of gamers that have literally just never seen this kind of thing happen. The only reason that we're seeing it again is because we're old. So.
By the way, people, when Brett says generation, he doesn't mean console generation. He means human generation.
Yeah, like a human, like old enough to be raised from a baby gamer to become old enough to spawn a new baby gamer and have that baby gamer now be the same age.
Yeah. It's
like it is literally a human generation. You could have raised an adult child in this amount of time.
Or
a child to an adult.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's a good one. By the way, Brett, here's some of the other ones we covered this year because a lot of shit actually happened this year. The whole Blizzard Hong Kong shit, Apex Legends just blowing up and then going away. Google Stadia, all that nonsense, how it just blew up and no one's talking about it anymore.
I feel like that stuff has kind of become. I mean, I hate to diminish, but I feel like some of that stuff has kind of become the standard. Like to see new technologies launch, promise a lot, and then fizzle out. I'm like, man, I feel like I see this just about every day. To see a big company falling face first in its own shit, I mean, that's become normal. I agree that these should be big stories, but we live in an age of just absolutely ridiculous. It's electrolyte. It's what plants crave. So that's just where we are. We live in this place where, of course, this multi-million-dollar corporation is going to bow to the whims of China and, subvert people's freedom even outside of the country. That's just the dystopian world that we live in. So, I mean, yes, you're right. Those are big stories, but how normalized have they become?
I mean, within the gaming industry, they're still not that normalized, but outside of everything, yeah, you're right about that. And then, of course, Brett, Half-Life, man. There's a new Half-Life coming out.
Maybe. This doesn't count. Like, that is...
Adam, you and Adam agree, shit.
That don't count. It's not an official game. It's a VR shit.
Are you saying it's not a game?
No,
Seems like a game to me.
Not from the franchise.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not a mainline game.
No, it's not.
Manny, I got that reference.
Yeah, no one's gonna. Yeah, it's obviously not a mainline reference.
Yeah, no, I caught the reference, Brian.
Yeah.
I just didn't rise to the bait.
Yeah. Oh man! All right, and then also Brett, again, guys, catch up. Name your top 3 games of the year, and tell us a little bit about them. Obviously,
games came out this year. What were some other people's answers? I'm trying to gauge what this year actually was.
Yeah, well, there's stuff like Death Stranding, Control, Bloodstained, Resident Evil 2, Astral Chain, shit like that. Pedro. Gris.
Those Call of Duty.
Those
were all good games. Okay, so what is the exact question here, just to make sure before I...
What were your favorite games of 2019 that came out in 2019?
Not ones you've played in 2019.
I'm diving in. You ready? You ready, gentlemen? Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Fallout 76.
Oh, that came out last year, man.
Did it?
Yeah, it came out late last year, bro.
I knew it.
But the online
part
came out this year, so if you played the online...
I was like, I'll get dogpiled for this one. Okay,
we dogpiled you last year for it when you brought it up.
Yeah.
Say
fuck you, I had fun.
Say it. Fuck you. Don't say Anthem. No.
No, God, no. I'm not. I'll be honest. I enjoyed part of the mechanics of Anthem. Like the ironic part is the thing that I love the most about Anthem was the shit that they threw in at the last second, which was the flying mechanic.
Yeah.
Like, why do all games not do this? To be able to fly around and hover and shoot and take cover, like, all of a sudden I'm moving in 360 degrees. Or in, like, a perfect sphere instead of just a 360-degree radius. It's cool. Why haven't people done this? And then I came to find out, like, that was something they threw in 2 months before release. Like, okay, so the rest of the game is just trash, and the very last minute you had one good idea. Okay, cool. It was fun, but it died out a little bit. Like, I liked the concept. It was not well executed, BioWare. One of the games I really did shockingly like, and I'm absolutely floored by this. I love Pokemon. And I thought I was going to like it. I thought I was going to enjoy it. I thought it was going to be a fun little side thing where I could kind of just do whatever. But man, it grabbed me by the short hairs. I totally get it. It's kind of a Monster Hunter obsession. It's like that level of like, oh shit, I want to play this game. And I can't explain it. Because I thought it was going to be baby's first RPG. But I'll be honest with you, Tony, it's not. We've been wrong. And I'm not sure how long we've been wrong, but we've been wrong. And I'm willing to eat that whole big pile of crow.
Damn.
Because this game has more mechanical nuance than a lot of... And maybe it's just because current RPGs are dumbed down, but if you want to compare this to, like, say, I don't know, Final Fantasy 15, it is 20 times deeper. Like, the idea of everything you have to customize, from your team setup to your matchups, to your type weaknesses and strengths, to the move set that you have. You can have the exact same move set with different stats, with different moves, with different abilities. Each thing has like a magical fucking secret hidden ability. Some of them can't be hit. Some of them, like ghost types, just can't be hit by martial types. And now a whole bunch of Pokemon have dual types, which makes it extra fucking confusing. I can't tell you how many times I've had to look at my phone to a strength weakness chart to see if the type of Pokemon I'm using is actually the type that I need to be using in the current battle. And then, when I don't know what I'm going to be fighting, because, like, yeah, sometimes you go through a water area, and fucking fire Pokemon spring up. You have no idea. So I have to stack a team that I'm able to shuffle in and out and cover all of my weaknesses and strengths. So I can either build a very neutral team, or I can build one that has very specific strengths and weaknesses. I can build a team that combos moves off each other. And, like, you know, so a Pokemon jumps in, does a move, jumps out, sets up something, my next Pokemon jumps in, and then finishes a combo. There's a lot to it, actually. And then there's the whole fucking collector's element. Like, I just find myself, should be going to the next gym. What am I doing? I'm running around the main area looking for a Pokemon because it's foggy out, and I have a 2% chance to find this one Pokemon that looks super dope. And even down to, like, the small cutesy things. Like, it changed my mind. Like, I do not like small cutesy Pokemon. I do not like, the big eye, cute, like, oh, look, it's fucking adorable. Let's fight. Like, I'm not a big fan of that. But the thing that hooked me on it was, that's not an animal. That's not the Pokemon. It's just a baby. And that's the point. The fact that you're fighting babies is, I'll be honest, a little weird. But they grow and... Yes.
Which Pokemon flipped switch for you? If
Toxtricity.
I see. Okay, makes sense.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I love a lot of the ghost Pokemon too, like Litwick that turns into Lampmere. I just named my Lamp because I love Lamp.
I get that reference.
Yeah, see, and that's the other thing. You're able to put in a lot of great references. I've been able to trade and fight. There's certain Pokemon that only evolve when you trade. Like, I got one that was like a dark spirit trapped in a wooden stump that I named Groot's Revenge. He's fucking awesome. Just the amount of customization, the amount of thought that you have to put into building your team is way deeper than I anticipated. Because, Tony, you and I'll be honest, you're the one in this boat the most with me. That's why I'm singling you out. We're just like, it's fucking rock, paper, scissors RPG. Whatever. I'm going to tell you, it's not. It is not. There's easily 40 hours of gameplay in the campaign, and then you can get lost. And then if you really want to, you can competitively battle other people, which is a whole unique thing. Like, you don't really think about it, but have you ever fought somebody else after you've groomed your perfect RPG team with their perfect moveset and ground out their perfect stats? Have you ever been able to take it against somebody else who's also built a perfect team and ground it out and build their perfect stats to see if you are actually as good as you think, or whether you're a wet pile of dog shit that needs to get back out there and rethink your strategy?
Hilarious.
So it caught me way more than I thought that it was going to. So kudos to that, I guess. It's a little weird walking around as a 36-year-old or 35-year-old man being like, apparently I love Pokemon. Apparently.
Well, Brett, I'll tell you, it is a deep game, but at least it doesn't put it on its face. It's not like Magic the Gathering where it's like, shit, you have all this stuff, you got to know all these cards and these buffs and these things. So everything you could literally power through Pokemon like, all right, I'm going to take this one, level it up as much as possible, and just go whoop ass until I can't, and I catch another one and just do that. And then you got the shinies, and you have levels. You had hidden stats before, so I'd say since the GBA games, they added like mechanics and stats and little things to make it deeper. But it's only as deep as you want to go. Like, you could just play and not know anything about those stats, or building, like you said, building a team and strategizing, and you could power your way through and still beat it.
You absolutely can, and that's kind of the thing I love. One of the things I love about it, and I'll be honest, I take as the hallmark of a well-designed game, or maybe not well-designed, but a good game that maybe stumbled onto a good well-designed for. I don't really know, but yeah, the idea of easy to pick up, incredibly difficult to master. Like, I will never get as deep as some of the people like who are breeding perfect Pokemon. They will always whoop my ass. I will not be able, do not have the time, experience, or the knowledge to keep up with some of these 7th-generation trainers. And to me, that's kind of cool. Veterans should know more. They should be able to exploit certain secrets. They should be able to figure out stuff. Like, the more time you put into it, the more rewards you get. And the fact that it's, you know, it could be, you know, wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle kind of thing, but it's not. You can just drill down, like Chris said, to however deep you want. You can drill down and just keep playing. And it's weird to me because I haven't played a game like that. It's almost the equivalent of like eating a chocolate chip cookie that you can't explain to people why this is the best chocolate chip cookie you've ever had. You're like, I don't know, it's warm, it's fluffy, the chocolate's like, it's gooey, but it's sweet. And everyone's like, yeah, that's a fucking chocolate chip cookie. But it's so difficult to explain. But to anybody on the fence that's listening, I highly recommend giving it a try. It is a fun, addictive experience that you can take on the go, and it somehow, whilst probably because it's turn-based, allows you an incredible amount of freedom that the Switch does to just pick it up, and you can fucking power that shit off in the middle of a goddamn battle, get on with your day, and pop it on and fight for 10 more minutes. It's great. It's been a great space filler. So I gotta say that. I also have to throw in Order 66. Or the what is the new Star Wars?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. There we go.
You mean the Order 1886?
No.
All of a sudden you turned around and you liked it? What?
Sorry, I've been hearing too many damn subtitles today. It's all getting mixed up in my head. The new Star Wars game, actually really dope. And of course, I like it because it's pretty much Star Wars Dark Souls. There's a lot of reasons that I don't like it. I'm going
Star Souls.
Yeah, well, that's what people are calling it. That's what people are calling it. Yeah,
they're trying, and they picked up a lot. They picked up a lot from it, and I really like the combat system. I really like how it's hard. I don't like how it's not necessarily. Like, the beauty of Dark Souls, and I'm waiting for people to get this, is that it's hard, but it's fair, like a 1950s dad. Right? Like you come in, you burn yourself. You look at the dad. You're like, why'd you let me do that? He's like, hot things are hot. Now you know. Like, and the next time you don't touch the hot thing, everything's fine, right? Like, the new Star Wars game is more like a drunken trailer trash dad. Like, you're just going about your merry business, and all of a sudden you catch a whooping out of fucking nowhere because somebody else is having a bad day. There are definitely points where, like, that's super cheap, and I kind of got to cheese dick my way through this. But for the most part, it's a fun game. It's got an interesting narrative. It's got a cool combat mechanic, and I'm so happy that the industry is at least feeling like it's finally pulling away from exclusively shooters. So I gotta rank that game in there just for. I'll be honest. It's a pile of turd full of gems, but they're really pretty gems.
That's interesting.
They're really pretty gems, and if you can push your way through the frustration that is the game, it's a fun experience. I would not liken it to a Souls game in the sense that don't challenge yourself on this game. Don't crank it up to hard just to prove how hairy your balls are, because it doesn't get hard and fair. It just gets frustrating and stupid. So play it through on the normal, maybe hard. Don't go. I mean, if you really want to go full master on it, that's fine. It's not balanced well enough, in my opinion, to take the change in difficulty. You guys know how some games scale well with difficulty and some games don't?
Yeah.
This one does not. So it's a fun experience. Play it through on normal, borrow it from a friend, rent it, return it. It's one of those things I say, rent it, play it, probably not a keep, but still definitely up there on my list as a fun, engaging game to play. I want to put Control up there.
I did. Right. Yeah, I did. I put it as my honorable mention.
It's all right. It's a good game. It's just it's missing a lot, and so is Star Wars. But it's missing a lot of pieces that I think are vitally important, like liking the main character, having good voice acting. I understand that this is a cerebral game, but there are a lot of places where there's just loose strings that they brush under the rug and be like, it's because time and space has been. Like, all right, motherfucker, still, even if time and space has been, you have to establish rules that you are then bound by. It seems like some of the shit in this is just fucking arbitrary and coming out of nowhere. The narrative was all over the place. The acting was fairly subpar. And I didn't really know anything about any of the people I was playing. I'm just like, okay, I can move shit with my mind once I move in here because I fucking touched a typewriter. I get it.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Finish up. I just got a question, but finish up.
As somebody who has associative right brain disorder, which means that basically, Manny probably knows this. You think weird because you're an artist. You associate random bits to another. They call it Christmas tree brain. They call it Christmas tree brain because under a scan, like all the different parts of your brain light up instead of just the parts that you're supposed to be thinking with, which means it's making just fucking random neural connections, which is great for art. Honestly, that's one of the things that really helps people create art. But it also tends to make people a little weird, which is kind of where the idea that artists are a little bit out there comes from. So I really. Or on drugs, yeah. Drugs pretty much force your brain into that state. So yeah, that's that too. I loved it from a right brain perspective. I loved it from an associative thinking perspective. Like it all made sense to me in a weird sort of way. The same way Fire and Steel, like there's this kind of an animated short on Netflix that is just, it's like an animated music video. Makes no fucking sense. It's just a bunch of cool anime things that pull together. But I guarantee you, like, if some of the more artistically inclined people in the room were to watch, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's kind of how my brain works when I just let it wander. So it makes a weird sort of right brain sense. It makes a thematic sense. And I'm perfectly happy with that. The problem with Control is it didn't connect a narrative sense. It didn't quite connect a thematic sense. Like it just wanted to be tied to, these are objects of power. They shape the world around you. It just didn't stick and fill in the meat enough. It felt like Senua's Sacrifice, a good game that needs fleshed out more.
What did you think? Because the reason I like it so much is because it was like a 3D Metroidvania game. What did you think about it from that standpoint? Like the world exploration and the superpowers and shit. That's what I liked about it.
I love the 3D Metroidvania. Like, here's the deal. I'm kind of in the same boat with Tony in that open worlds have gotten out of hand. People don't know how to use them. There are a few people that really do it great. Breath of the Wild does a fantastic job. I've heard of, somebody was just mentioning to me a game. Ghost of Tsushima is not going to have waypoints. It's going to be driven by the landscape and visual cues. So they're paying a lot of attention to, like, yeah, you made it to this part, but look at that cherry blossom tree in the middle of the field.
It's a semi-open world, kind of like the way God of War is.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure
I'm thinking is.
I'm pretty sure it's a fairly open world, but it's like Breath of the Wild in the sense that they're using landmarks to tell you the story and not
a
just
bunch of empty space.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem. People make a world and they just put a bunch of empty space and they put a bunch of waypoints in there. I'm like, cool, we got a game. Like, you got to move from point A to point B, but they're not really considering what's going on between point A and point B. There are several companies that do it really well. Bethesda, despite all of their flaws, is a company that does really well at putting a lot of stuff between A and B and making A to B feel like a natural progression, like a natural path that you would follow. Oh, I'm going up this mountain. I'm obviously going to follow this ridge. And then here's a shortcut. I might go through this way. It's not blocking you in. It's just giving you an easy option and basically figuring out where you're going to go. And that's not hard. It's a classic misdirection. Magicians use this shit all the time. Like, if they present you with 4 cards, they know which card you're going to pick. Or if they present you with 4, I just watched a Cirque du Soleil Christmas thing, and they had a magician on there giving out envelopes. One of the envelopes had $80 in it. The other ones had nothing in it. And through subtle coercion and just psychology, he knew how to write the words, how big to write the words, how to introduce them in a way that he always ended up with his $80 back. And that is the kind of thing, that is the kind of thought that needs to be put into video games. The psychology of the player. And a lot of games do that really well.
It's hard to predict because they always say that's the biggest problem with gaming, where essentially when you start opening things a lot wider, there is no guarantee that the player is going to be going in that direction or looking in that direction.
And that's true. And it is a lot harder, and you don't always hit it 100% of the time. But
it's part of the reason why most games take control away from you during a cinematic, because most people will just be walking around in a circle, not even looking at the thing that they're supposed to.
Yeah, but most of the time, it does work. And if you do wander off, it gives you other visual cues and kind of pulls you in different ways. Like, it generally works. I feel like it's the equivalent to visual flow in art, specifically in sequential illustration, aka comics. Like, if you ever really look at a well-made comic page, you'll notice that there are very subtle visual cues that always drive you to the next panel. They change the direction of the eye.
Well, it's about weighting a page, and you're still confined. You're not open. In other words, if you decided to spread a comic all over the environment, see, that's the big difference. You still have a sort of structure when you're dealing with a comic. There from people who understand how to direct a person's eye can use that, but the thing is that I think in gaming it's a lot more complicated than just saying than just weighting something. I think in Breath of the Wild, here's the thing, like Breath of the Wild, it has points of interest, but it doesn't give you in other words, they cannot lead you on a direct story through it. Other words, whereas in a comic, there is one beginning and one end. For Breath of the Wild, there's multiple directions that you can go, which do have their own narratives.
Yeah, but okay, so maybe.
But there's no order to it. In other words, it's like okay, yes, the main story of the game is kill Ganon or kill Calamity Ganon, but how you get there is different.
Okay, so maybe I'll put it more in terms of a tattoo sleeve. The visual flow of a tattoo sleeve should always lead you back to the main subject matter of the piece, but it can break off in various different ways and fall down into other secondary subject matters. But even after it captures the eye of those secondary subject matters, no matter which path you follow, it should always lead you back to the main standing composition of the piece to help keep the readability. You can keep all of these, be like, if I'm drawing a skull and roses with keys and a pocket watch, and what other bullshit do I usually put in there? A fucking dove and some other shit, like the line and some filigree. The filigree lines will always lead you back eventually to the skull and hearts. It'll roll through the keys, it'll roll through the locket, it'll roll through this other thing. You can look at the skull and it'll drop down into the keys, and then it rolls back up into the skull and it drops back down into the.
That's a ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. I'm lost right now. What the fuck are we talking about?
It's a concept known as visual flow. Visual
and this
flow
has to do with control? Just making sure.
Yes. This has to do with open worlds.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Visual flow is the ability for an artist to subtly direct you to a thing that you don't even know you're being directed to. It's used in multiple kinds of media, in everything from comic books to fine art to tattooing. It started in most fine art, and the big problem here was if you kept the eye recycling in your painting, that was a good thing. If you let the eye off of your painting, the viewer would often travel along the visual path that you led them off of, ending up on another painting, which meant they sold that other painting, not yours. The way that you capture an audience is you recycle the visual flow in a piece so that it traps the eye within the interior of the world that you're creating. A lot of good artists know this, and that's the reason you get stuck at a lot of paintings. That same science can be applied to all different forms of art, including video games and video game environments. Skillfully directing the eye and having a very interesting mountain pass that silently calls you, be like, I want to know what's through there, I want to see what's on the other side, is a much more skillful approach than slapping a waypoint at the end of randomly generated terrain. And yes, most open world games are procedurally generated. Now, that doesn't mean that they're procedurally generated the first time you play them. What it means is they put in an algorithm that builds the landscape, and then they kind of just go through and add things, change things, move a couple of things. But for the most part, it's not all handcrafted. It's just hand tweaked. There are games, however, that the entire environment is handcrafted in a way to direct that visual flow in a way that leads you in a more natural, exploratory fashion. And those are the games that I really like, which is why I have huge beef against waypoints. And the problem is that most people, circling back to open world games, don't have that command of visual flow or landscape design, or they just don't fucking care enough, so they just slap a bunch of waypoints down. So yes, I've come to the point where I agree with you, Tony. I have a problem not with open world, I have a problem with all the bad open world that we're getting.
Yeah, you and I have problems with open worlds for completely different reasons. But again, it's weird because I was Mr. Open World back in the day. Open world game, give me that shit, But nowadays, I'm like, But my thing is more different. I'm like, I don't want to do 50 million side missions anymore, man. Like, let me just stick to the main shit already.
If they're interesting, I'm fine. If they're fucking fetch quests or deliver this milk to the neighbor, fuck you. I'm saving the world. I don't have time to run your goddamn errands. You lost a sheep. I don't give a fuck. Do you know that the world is ending? Are you aware of this?
They're like, no. Yeah. My sheep is lost.
Yeah, like, God damn it, my world is ending. I need my sheep.
Ending. I need my sheep, motherfucker. All right, man. Let's move on, man. Let's talk about the game or games that disappointed you the most this year, man. Andre, we'll start with you, man.
Man, I don't really. Anthem.
Yeah, Anthem was huge. That's my answer too. By the way.
Let me think. Really, there really wasn't too much. I just didn't. A lot of the games that are really bad. I didn't play them, so.
Yeah, that's the caveat. Really you had to have played the games. Yeah,
I didn't play any really bad games this year. No, nothing. Nah, I didn't play anything really bad.
All right.
I played some weird games that I was like, oh, it took me a minute. Okay, now I get it. I get what's going on. Yeah, they actually ended up being pretty cool. Really, I dodged a bunch of bullets.
All right, cool. Adam, I heard you say what? So I'm guessing you played some disappointing games.
There was a bunch, but I mean, the one that always comes up, and I brought it up last week, was the WWE 2K20. Man, it was broken, so bad. I just can't believe how bad. And to know that it's just getting worse right now because a lot of the devs left from that other studio that was working on it. So who knows what's going to happen for the next year, 2021 edition 2K21. May not even happen. Who knows? But it was so bad. I can't believe a game could ship this broken. Not in this day and age.
Yeah. All right. Mandy, you play anything disappointing?
I just have a visual aid, the same visual aid from before.
Death Stranding.
Oh, it said Left Alive?
Left Alive.
Left Alive.
Which is Left Alive. Probably the worst game I have ever played. I swear, man, like that game is just garbage. Especially the sad thing about it is just the people that are involved with it. A lot of the people that created those. There's obviously Yuji Shinkawa, and then there's the guys, some other guys who created some other really great games. No, they're not for this one. But luckily, I didn't buy the game for the game. I actually bought the game for the collector's edition, which was a toy and a really awesome art book. So I got my deal out of it, and it just so happened to come with a lousy game.
Damn.
So, yeah. I mean, I still want to play it just to get a little bit of the experience, but man, it is a fucking hard, crappy game.
Right, Chris.
I didn't really play anything bad. Everything I played, I was pretty happy with. I kind of stayed away from the traps of what I thought was bad. Like, I kind of wanted to play Contra Roll Core, but I saw the reviews and I was like, oh, I can't give this money. I mean, Adam talked about like FIFA on the Switch. That was shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just some bad stuff that I stayed away from, but everything I played, and I put in a lot of hours. Like I put in a lot of hours of Death Stranding, put a lot of hours of Resident Evil, all this stuff. It was all great. So I dodged a bullet this year. 2019, no bullets.
Nice. I'll go next. These aren't like games that I mean, Anthem. That's a obvious disappointment, especially coming from BioWare. You expected better, especially from the quote unquote A team. You expected a lot better. So I'll leave that alone. We talked enough about that fucking game earlier. These two, they're not disappointing per se. They're just not what I wanted, right? And you already mentioned Contra, right? In my review, I said if you look at it as a top-down twin-stick shooter, it's cool. It's a fun game, right? As a twin-stick shooter. It's a Contra game. It's not what we wanted, especially after we got that Contra collection earlier this year. It's like, yo, that's the shit. As a matter of fact, Blazing Chrome, play that. That's the Contra we wanted, you know? Just Contra mixed with Metal Slug a little bit. That's the shit you wanted, you know? And the other one, I hate to say this, I'm keeping it real, though. Shenmue 3, man. Nah, son. I can't. I had to put that. I played enough of this game to write about it, but after I'm like, I don't want to play this shit anymore, man. Like, I love Shenmue 1 and 2. Those games like shaped me as a gamer, but I cannot play this fucking game. It is too much of a fucking throwback. You know, if you like it, again, I'm not shitting on the game. It's just I can't hang with it, man. The voice acting, like, again, it was funny and endearing back in the day, but now, like, nah, son. Can't be doing this, you know. But objectively speaking, mechanically, it is actually the best Shenmue game, right? Objectively speaking, it is. It's a step above the last two Shenmue games, but it's like 50 steps behind a modern game, you know. So, man, I'm just glad I didn't fund that Kickstarter. I'll say that.
I did.
Yeah.
I still haven't played it yet, though.
All right, Brett, hit us, man. What's your most disappointing game of the year?
I like how you put it like, all right, say something stupid. I mean, I'm going to deliver, so.
Control.
Yeah, remember, I played the game, you know?
In the spirit of the question, the answer would be Division 2.
Ooh, Adam. Hold on. Hold on. Wait, Rich Carl was on. I'm stopping you.
No. Remember that? It didn't live up to the hype, man.
No. Brett, I'm going to join you on this one. And Adam, you could join in too. So I hope you don't mind a triple threat here. Division 2, yes. Yes, you know why? Because that fucking game, when it first came out, was actually really cool. Adam and I, my cousin, you know, and Chris, we had a lot of fun. Then they fucked everything up. They fucked that whole game up. You know, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm changing my Brett. I'm going with you. Fuck. Anthem disappointed me, right? But it didn't piss me the fuck off like Division 2 did. You know, like
I just didn't expect as much from Anthem. Like, I mean, I was like, BioWare stepping out of their wheelhouse is going to be okay. Maybe it turned it out. You know, I had said like I don't think they're going to be able to tell a narrative story in an MMO type environment. Like, I saw that one coming. Division 2, I was like 12 hours in. I'm like, I'm having a great time. What the fuck happened?
Oh my god! Yeah,
it just hurt. It hurt.
Yeah, again for me because you know
you throw one in there.
Go ahead. I make this real quick because I got to shit. I got to shit on.
You made me think about it. I'm like,
go ahead.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yep, fuck! Oh my god! Yes. How did I?
Oh man, I'm a Ghost Recon fan.
Yep.
Yo,
I love Wildlands.
Dre, hold up, Dre. I'm sorry, I gotta stop you, man. I was so disappointed that game. I forgot it came out. That's how fucking disappointed I. Oh my fucking!
You like
God.
blocked it out. You like got blackout drunk. Like
this is how you know people. I'm getting amped up right now. Anyway, go ahead, Dre.
No, it's just I go through the first couple of missions. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm digging this, and then I get into a multiplayer. I had to do a co-op match with somebody. And I'm playing, and all of a sudden, like, I was walking through the world. You serious?
Oh, shit.
And this is after the big update. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay. And then I started to play it again, and I just couldn't get into it anymore. The story it didn't catch me. Wildland was amazing. Wildlands was dope. I could not. I mean, I'm gonna get back into it again. I'm gonna try it again. But
we have to wait till the other big patch when they introduce the co-op.
I'm tired of that fucking shit. Wait for the patch for the game to get better. Come on, man.
I was so fucking happy. I was like, I can't wait to play this game. And I'm like, oh my god. And I was like, this is dope. And I actually enjoyed the first little bit. And I was just like, and then the world was so weird. The terrain I'm like, what am I? What I gotta go? The map showed me where I needed to go, and I'm like, dude, how am I gonna get up?
Yo, hold on, Brett. You want to talk about open world games that give you no fucking guidance? Fucking this game does, but it's just like a land with nothing in it. You know
They
what I'm saying?
just
Like
threw a bunch of markers.
it's like
Just a
okay,
bunch.
here's a jungle, here's a desert, here's a mountain. Go.
Yeah.
It's like what? This
Do it.
doesn't like geologically speaking, it makes no fucking sense. And I said, you know, and then as a game itself, I'm sorry, how does an island have that many fucking biomes? This shit don't work. But
Okay, weirdly enough, they do. Fun fact.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going,
I'm
where the
sorry,
hell
but
are
as a
all these-
game, like if Andre, you already know, and Adam too, like when you're playing a game, like the actual land doesn't give you any clues visually, you know, as to where to
no,
go.
you have no idea where to go.
That game,
I'm
you know,
like,
here's
okay.
my thing about the game. It's like it felt like a watered down Division 2, and I was already mad at that fucking game. You know,
It didn't know what it wanted to do. It didn't know what type
Ubisoft,
of game
man.
it wanted to be. It tried to incorporate too much of the Division 2 with
I
the
hope-
loot and all that crap. And some of
I hope they-
Odyssey. It's a easy
I hope they get it
Odyssey.
together. I hope something happens. I mean, I'm a Ghost Recon fan. I'm really wanting this game to be good. I mean, it's not that I hate it. I'm just like, what?
Well,
I'm
they have-
too busy. I'm not enjoying it. I'm too busy going, what the fuck is this?
So they said next year, besides the AI teammates coming back, they're introducing another mode that's going to focus heavily on the survival. So all that stuff that we have that just gives bonuses, they're going to
Yeah.
make it a necessity, like the food and the healing and all that stuff. So we'll see how that plays out.
I don't know, man. Yo, damn, Brett got me worked up now with fucking Division. Then fucking
Yeah, well, remember the reason why the division? It's because of what happened with the raid and how the gear level never
Yes,
went up. It went from
that's right, the
500
gear
to,
score.
we're gonna
Yeah.
do 515, and then they said no, we're not, and we're gonna start knocking down other gear. We nerfed a bunch of shit. So then people that were 500 wound up being 480.
my cousin got
Your cousin.
fucking
Oh yeah,
pissed.
he was
he
mad.
worked for weeks to get his shit up to like 515. They were like, nope. You know, you're going back down to 490, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing. Yeah, they said that was a glitch that people were getting into 515 as a full win because you could mod your gear and you can make these modifications to boost it. I'm like, oh yeah, don't worry, we're fixing that.
Yeah, well,
like, you're fixing that. What do you mean? And then it was gone. That was it.
Yeah, and then my cousin glitched his way all the way back to the game store to sell this shit back because he was done.
He was mad.
He was pissed. So man, I've known this guy all my life. I've never heard him that angry before, man. Oh
This
my
bullshit.
god, it's a bullshit. Tell me the bullshit.
You know, and then the bullshit with the raid when they finally did
That
open
was
it up for other
horseshit.
people, and we don't get anything out of it. So it's like, oh yeah, you'll do it, but you won't get any of the loot or any of the good stuff. You have to do it properly. Play with strangers. You know, I mean, play with your group. Get a full group of 8 people.
Play with
Out of
people.
here, man. I'm worked up. Anyway, Brian, did you play any disappointing games?
I did not, unfortunately. See, I'm kind of like I have like a half answer. There's a game I'm disappointed with, but not for the reasons that it was a disappointing game. If that makes sense.
Okay,
Okay. That was Greece.
interesting. That
and
was
the
one of your
reason why-
games, though. Interesting.
That was a
It
classic
was,
movie.
and the reason why is I'm starting to notice that all these indie games seem to follow the same formula, and that's starting to get on my nerves now because it's a formula that can only stretch so long, and the formula is the death of a loved one. Like
Yeah, I agree.
over the last 5,
Okay.
6 years, like all the small indie games I played have all been around the death of a loved one. So there's Agree, there's the one with the boy on the island, there's the one that I played like 2 years ago, where it's like a first-person puzzle game, and I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like, do they not have anything else that they can talk about? Like
It's
again, I'm not saying that it's bad they are doing it. I'm not saying that I'm annoyed they're doing it. It's just getting to the point now where it's like, oh great, another
They're
indie
overdoing
game
it.
where the story is that they lost a loved one. Like we all go through it. Okay, maybe that's why they want to do it. But at the same time, it's like there's so much material out there. There's so many topics that can be discussed out there that I don't feel like anyone is touching. For example, and this is one reason why I was really disappointed by Watch Dogs, is human trafficking. They had a story where they were going down the route of human trafficking, and then all of a sudden it just fizzled into nothingness. I'm like, hey, I would really love to play a game where they highlight human trafficking because it's a thing that still happens. No one talks about it, and here's a chance for someone to do so, but they did not. So, yeah. So, Gree is disappointing on that factor, but it's still a really good game.
I want to jump onto this because Brian, I swear you and I had this exact same conversation like 3 or 4 years ago. Where you were like, "Yo, can we have games that don't have to deal with the death of a loved one?" I swear we had the same conversation before, man. Does it sound familiar to you, Brian? Because I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation before, which lets you know how often they keep doing this shit.
It does sound like something that we would discuss, and I just don't quite remember discussing it. I do remember saying that I'm getting tired of the dead wife and child trope.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Last of Us, because after after Watch Dogs, wow, Watch Dogs was a breaking moment. Yeah, after Watch Dogs, I'm just getting really annoyed of like dead wife and child things. Like, come on, like there's something else you can do. Like, do other family members at least.
Get the uncle. Get
the uncle, the dead uncle.
You know how it is.
Yeah, Brian, that was a conversation. That was it. You know, you were like, "Yo, can we do something else?"
Yeah,
you killed my family.
It just gets to a point where it's like.
Really? Remember John Wick? Kill the dog. Go down that road. Man.
Exactly, John Wick. They kill the dog. Like, fine. Like, that's still nice. You know, it's different. It's fresh. You know, different. Like different reasons. You know.
Yeah, I feel you, man. All right, I think we got everybody here. So, yeah, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I told you it's a little bit of an extra long episode. This is a last regular throwdown, so we got to go big. All right, the last thing I want to end on is what are we looking forward to with gaming in 2020? And this kind of dovetails around something we didn't bring up during the previous discussion about the big highlights. We didn't talk about the next gen systems, right? So let's talk about that, because I think that's going to be the main thing going on in 2020. The new consoles dropping. PlayStation's dropping theirs in November. We're going to presume Microsoft is going to drop theirs in November. PlayStation 5, that's lockdown, and then Xbox Series X dropping. So yeah.
xCloud.
So I guess I'm starting. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, seeing the new console, seeing where the new games specifically, like what games are these systems going to have. And I'm also looking forward to the return of Sony to E3. I think they're going to bring some interesting things. Should be cool. Maybe inject some life again into the fucking convention. But consoles, definitely the main thing I'm looking forward to in 2020. Dre, what about you? What looking forward to in 2020?
And this is going to be the only thing I'm looking forward to about the new consoles is that we're not going to be playing last gen games on them.
Right, we'll see about that.
They better not do if they said, "Oh, not going to do that." I'm like, okay.
Well, remember they're backwards compatible.
Yeah, it's all backwards. So
no, that's fine. No, backwards compatible is fine. But I already own 3 copies of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But then EA just said that they're going to remake all their old shit for the next gen. They announced that.
Maybe they're going to, I don't know. Maybe it'll be, a new take on it. I don't know. But I don't want to see, I don't know. I just don't want to see the same game on PS4 that we'll see on PS5. No,
you're gonna see that, buddy.
That's
you're gonna see.
They said no, but Sony said that. Sony said or Microsoft said it. One of the companies said they're not gonna do that, and I hope they do. I hope they stick to their guns, because it just annoyed me. I did buy some of them, but it just annoyed me that they did. It just annoyed me. I'm like, you're introducing a new console, so if you're gonna just bring out the old games, why don't they just which I do. I just think that's great. And I'm looking forward to Animal Crossing for Switch, Bayonetta and Vanquish. And I'm actually looking forward to Samurai Showdown also, because I'm going to buy the European Collector's Edition from this company called Pixel something. I don't know. They're making a Neo Geo cartridge case with the physical version of the Neo Geo Pocket game and Samurai Showdown for Switch.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy. I'm like trying my best to get. So was one of the big things I'm looking forward to. It's gonna be early. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. Oh shit, GCDR, we did forget to talk about MLB The Show. Oh well. Oh, excuse me.
Didn't we talk about that?
No,
yep.
not on this episode. Yeah, what's going on, Carlos? That was big news, though.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck it. We're gonna keep the show going. We're gonna pause this segment and run back. Manny, you do the noise. and get Carlos's takes, man. Carlos, I didn't read your shit, so you could do it now. You know. So I'm just gonna run down the same thing we did. Okay, what is one gaming story that you thought was big from this year?
So for me, it was sort of the kind of announcement of the new consoles and the unveiling of the Xbox One Series or Xbox Series X or Xbox, whatever people are gonna call this shit. Yeah, man, that's I think that's the biggest news. It's sort of like the start of a new era and sort of the closing of this one, and that's what's getting me the most excited about gaming right now because. You know, you guys know how I feel about this generation. To me, it's been underwhelming.
Booty.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
by the way,
comparatively,
it's funny, yeah. By the way, it's funny you bring that up because we were just doing a segment on what are you most anticipating 2020. We actually didn't talk about those consoles at all during that segment. So I brought it up now. You know, that's the thing I'm most looking forward to next year. You know, but you
same here.
Yeah. So basically, that's a combo for you. Then it's like the thing that you thought was the biggest thing of this year and the thing you're looking forward to next year, right?
Yep, they all coincide. It's all, you know, it's everything, you know, everything's coming to an end, and then there's gonna be the rise of the new consoles, you know. So rise.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right,
we will talk about that.
Yeah, all right. Top 3 games of the year.
Oh, okay. So should I go 3, 2, 1?
Whatever you want, man. You can either do 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, whatever you want. Don't matter.
Can I go 0.5 and 2 and 0.2? All right, let's do this. I'll go with 3. My number 3 is oh man. You know,
I could name the shit you wrote.
No, I know that's number 1.
Yeah.
You know what? Number 3 and number 2 are incomplete. I'll give. I don't even know what the hell I played this year, to be honest. My friend is Pedro. My name. What is it? My friend Pedro.
Yeah, that's been a popular one tonight.
That's something that is coming into my head. I haven't really thought about 3 and 2. I've only thought about 1. So yeah, I just gonna give a shout out to my friend Pedro. But number 1 for me is maybe I'm trying to, like, as soon as I'm about to say it, I'm trying to think who else said this, and I'm pretty sure maybe at least 2 people said this.
Yeah, I think you know which 2 said this. Let's just be real, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one, I'm pretty sure it's Chris.
Yes,
is Resident Evil 2, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, talk about doing remakes the right way, and that's just something that I think. I don't remember most of Resident Evil 2. I played it when I was a kid. But this game, man, it just reinvigorated the whole, not just the franchise, because I mean the franchise has already been reinvigorated, but just the story itself. And it's hard to do anything better than what Capcom did with this remake. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised with myself because this came out early in the year, and I think consensus, it was like, yeah, this game is fucking great, but it's not going to be game of the year by the end. You know, when we get to November, it's not going to be there, but it's stuck there. Oh, I know number 2, Super Mario Maker 2.
Oh shit! Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, man.
It's the same as Mario Maker 1 with more features, and I guess. That just made me happy, and it's
just thinking that game.
Oh yeah. It's features galore. It has everything. Man. I'm not a huge fan of like games like Little Big Planet and stuff like that, and Mod Nation Racers. But for some reason, Super Mario Maker, something about Mario, man. It's a bias. It's, you know.
Hey,
it's nostalgic.
You know, yeah, you're Mexican. He's Mexican. It works, you know.
I was playing Super Mario Odyssey, man. He was carrying that sombrero, man. You know what's up?
Yeah, man. Get the poncho and shit, you know.
Wearing the ponchos, man.
Listen, I'm sorry, you ain't Italian. Look at that mustache, bro. You Mexican.
That ain't an Italian stash. That's a Mexican stash. We're taking him. He's repping us, man. I don't know.
That's it, man.
Him and Christopher Columbus. Anyways, yeah, Mario Maker 2, great game. It's I just you can never stop having finding new levels that you love in that game, and they don't even have to be like super hard ones, because those are the ones that get the most love. It's like the super hardcore hard ones, and the Dark Souls of Mario Maker levels. But yeah, those are my 3.
All right, and just have fun now. Your most disappointing game of the year.
Oh shit!
Some of the ones
Anthem?
that was thrown around. Obviously, Anthem. There you go.
Anthem. And I'm sorry, Brett. I know.
Brett's come around on Anthem. He realizes it's not what it was supposed to be.
I don't love Anthem.
Well, I know, but here's the thing. Anthem was sort of BioWare's last stand for me. They weren't in my good graces with a lot of stuff that they were doing. Mass Effect Andromeda being like the whole majority of it. And yeah, they're like, this is gonna be our new thing. It's gonna be Anthem. It looks the trailer when it first came out was fucking crazy. I know everyone jumped on the whole Destiny thing, and I agree, but I thought that this could be something even better because BioWare had the power of storytelling on their side. Because
they had that BioWare magic.
Yeah, they had the keyword Chris had. It's like they told KOTOR, they told Mass Effect trilogy, they told the Dragon's Age trilogy, and this is this was their game that they decided to put their A team on, and it's and I remember me, Tony, I forgot what else we were playing with. We were playing it for a while. It's like there's no story. There's just like, hey, we're here. Just go to this place and light up your little dials to see the whole numbers pop up on the screen like Destiny, and just man, I was just so disappointed. I was underwhelmed. It was a pretty game. It's hard, man. It's hard. I don't want to say it's a bad game. I didn't even play the full version of the game. But to me, it was just like I know what they were trying to do, and it's not something that I'm into. It's not a narrative-driven game. It's not something that's changing, that's doing anything. I mean, I'm not asking them to revolutionize gaming. I'm just asking them to do something that feels fresh, even if it's just an iteration of something, not a carbon copycat of a lot of different games, and not doing them better than them. The mechanics, like it's hard to say. That's like, does it have better shooting mechanics than any other game? Does it have any better loot system than any other game? We know the story isn't compared to any, doesn't touch any of the great stories that's been told in the last couple of years for gaming. So yeah, by no means am I saying this is the worst game. It's just my most disappointing game. I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, cool, man. And you already talked about your most anticipated thing for 2020, so we'll slide over to Brian. What are you looking forward to in 2020 in gaming?
New consoles. I want to see how this is going to turn out. Those console warriors are just have been at it like all weekend on Twitter. They were saying, "Oh, Digital Foundry said that the trailer's not real gameplay," and you know how they went back and forth and back and forth. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to actually see gameplay from these consoles and what they actually do. And by gameplay, I mean like actual games being played, not just, hey, this is in-engine stuff. Like, no. Show me the game being played by someone, as in actually being played. Not being played in like the back end or like a video, like pre-rendered stuff. No. Show me the game being played. Simple. That's all I need to see. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what they'll do. I'm excited to see what type of features they will have because consoles these days tend to not have many features. They just tend to be like, hey, we play your games and Netflix. We may have an okay browser,
Yeah.
but then the browser sucks ass. So it's like, okay, what else can you do? You know, like, oh yeah, we play 4K movies. Like, cool. What else do you do? You know, if I'm sinking $500 into you, you better do something good. You know,
Oh
I'm just,
man.
I'm just being serious here. Like, if they're spending that $500 on this thing, they better be doing something else apart from just playing Netflix and stuff. You know, like, what else do you do? You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, and of course, Witcher 3. So, Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 20.
Witcher 3.
Good. I'm playing it again. There you
Damn.
go. Cyberpunk 2027. I really want to see how this game unfolds. Again, these are developers that have my trust at this point in time, and I'm excited to see what they do with that. Are they going to fold? Are they going to do well? Who knows? I have no idea, but I'm excited to find out.
Cool. All right. Chris.
I'd say the new systems. That's what I'm most looking forward to. I want to see the performance. I want to see if Mark Cerny is blowing smoke or if he's legit with these load times and his crazy access speeds that's gonna have. So I'm very curious about that. Um, there's a couple games I'm looking forward to, but mostly it's that. Mostly it's like the promise of the next generation because this one has been pretty lackluster.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that okay, if you open up all this hardware, you're like, guys, don't worry about load times or whatever, big worlds and it'll stream fast. But okay, so I want to see the experiences that's going to be made for those things. I want to see that, because like I'm zipping around in Death Stranding, and I know like, man, I can't imagine this on like PS5. If it could have the access times, and you'd be zipping, or you'd be like,
Yeah, man.
riding the trike would be like riding a speeder bike in Star Wars. That's I want to move around.
Awesome. All right, Manny.
Or that initial load time in the beginning of Death Stranding. Or
Oh yeah, just see it
you're
zip.
just waiting there. Me, I actually can't say I'm really that excited about anything coming on in 2020. I mean, yes, the consoles are coming, but that's not really something I'm excited for. I'm interested. I'm not really excited.
Yeah. Or not even looking forward to anything.
I don't know what's coming. I don't care.
Hey, damn. All right.
I don't.
Cynic
I mean,
man
it's like
view, you know.
what is it's pretty. There's got to be something out there that's really got to be something. And so far, they haven't said anything that you don't know. Final Fantasy. Yep, we know that's coming. All these a few other things we know. That's Sekiro. It's not. It's nothing. Anything to look forward to, we kind of already know. And then and anything that's a surprise, it's going to happen that year. So I'm just like, all right, let's see what happens, and that's the way I see it.
All right, Adam.
Skateboarding games, thanks to the Olympics coming.
You got to play.
And there's a bunch
What's that? Remember that shit I sent you today? Like Score or whatever the name of that game is.
That wasn't me. That was your other friend.
What? That was you, motherfucker.
Wasn't me.
I'm gonna look this shit up right now.
Look
Yeah,
it up.
there's
You'll
a
find
there's
it
a
wasn't
there's a but it's only on Steam. That's probably why you don't care. There's
No. There's a few that's only on Steam right now. But
yeah. Anyway, skating games.
It looks like there's some of those, and also how people consume video games, how all these streaming services work. I'm sure Google's going to get Stadia figured out. The tech is there. They're on the cusp of getting that worked out, and xCloud is going to be awesome just because of the library that everything carries over, so you'll have games to play. So just to see if those type of services take off, because if so, we could see that happening everywhere. See Nintendo, I could definitely see Nintendo jumping in on that. We already got Sony trying to do some of that. So it's going to be interesting to see that, because I remember a while ago when it came to, we saw it happen with movies and things and music, where it's like, oh well, everybody wants to buy it. Well, now they're going digital, and it's like, well, they don't now. We got all these services like Spotify and all this other. People don't even care about actually owning. They just want access to a service that has it, and it took off. It took off for movies, it took off for music, and now we'll see if it'll take off for games. Because if that's the case, then shit, physical media, that's gone. Hell, even maybe digital, just for like what we were saying about just at least knowing that you have a digital version of it loaded in your console might be a thing of the past. This generation, not within the first year, but just in this upcoming generation.
By the way, Adam, you're right. I forgot to send you this.
Of course you did, because I don't lie to you, just like you lie to me, though.
Well, I can't tell you the truth, man. You don't know how to handle it,
Yeah, that's true. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny though. Yeah. Just to link on that when you sent out that tweet about the 25 cent push the play.
I should have. So, yeah, I'm gonna go get that real quick. Anyway, go ahead.
Because I was looking at that earlier this week because you could attach it to the Arcade 1-Up, and if I program it with the button on the top, I can have it where that's my start button. So when I press it, then it'll start up. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do that. And it's just a whole process. And stuff. And then next, I see you send this, like, look what I got. And then it was like, oh, it's a keychain. So it's funny.
Crickets.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tony's muted. He went to get that thing.
Oh, I went to go get the thing. So, yeah.
So wait, you can connect it to the Arcade 1-Up and it acts like a quarter?
There's one, it's on Etsy. A guy has one where you will attach it and you make the hole, and then it's just rewiring the button. So that the connector that goes to the board for the start button that's on the top would then go down to that button. Because it's push and it's LED, so then you just press it. So it's just replacing it. And that's all right. There's some people that have had where they've taken the top buttons and they've moved it to the bottom underneath. But I have my speaker panel here, so I can't put them here because of the speakers. But I can go a little lower in the kick panel. So that's what I was going to do with that.
Nice. All right, check this out. I'm going to put myself on camera. So this is so fucking cool. So over the weekend they had the Capcom Cup, right? And over there, I forgot the name of the company, but they showed this shit off, right? Look at it, right? It looks like a regular arcade thing, but the cool thing is, right? Lights up, son. Crazy.
So that company, what's interesting about that company and why they were even at that Capcom.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they're called Next Wave, New Wave Toys.
Yes, what they do is they actually make miniaturized 1/6 scale versions of arcade machines.
Oh, yeah, like the shit Adam reviews, right?
No, 1/6 scale. This is for a 1/6 scale figure, like a 12-inch figure, that size. But it's a full, a full working arcade machine.
They're expensive.
Oh, that's cool.
They're very expensive.
Okay,
but they're not.
The one that I've seen are like $200.
No, these right here, if you go, they're having a sale on their site. All the little mini arcades like that are only like 100 and change, right?
Well, that's close. There you go. Then that's
they are now $99 right now.
Now the thing is, they don't play well. The emulation is pretty bad. I've seen a few of them for Street Fighter and for the Pac-Man, and there's a lag for the controls.
Uh-oh.
But they have cool design. It looks great on a desk.
Yeah.
If you turn on, if you want it as a display piece, then go for it. But
I'm sorry, this is the dopest fuck. Look at this thing, man. If you're an old school arcade head,
I break all my keychains, man. I've had so many cool ones.
Yeah, I got my keys on them and shit. I did retire my old can opener. I was like, let me just get rid of that bottle opener.
No. What?
No,
that's
you always
functional.
need
You
that.
need the can opener.
Actually, know what it is? Because if you got, let me put this shit up. Here's what's going on. This shit is so fucking old now. I need a new one, and I'm gonna try to get a thinner one this time. Because I usually use this thing just to like grab it and pull my keys out. But this shit is, I've had it. Manny, you already know I've had this thing forever. But by the way, I also had these on. Rockstar. You know how it is, man.
Are you a rockstar?
Your boy, man.
Mine. The one I use is the one that's shaped like a key. That's shaped like a key. See, and you just go.
Nice. Yeah, I see. That's the type of shit I need. Something that's small,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Brett, the thing you're most looking forward to in gaming next year. Take us home, man. Take us home.
Probably Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh, man, that trailer. By the way, I was on the fence about that game because it's a samurai game. I don't really care about that feudal Japan stuff. But that last trailer, I'm like, that looks fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, that's the game I'm looking most forward to.
That looks crazy. Yeah. There was this one part, Brad, I don't even remember, where he's walking in, when it's cold, and you see his fucking breath leave. I'm like, fuck, it's crazy. Yeah, Brett.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, Brett's like, I'm thinking about the breath.
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah. God, that game looks fucking awesome.
Oh.
Here's the thing I'm weirdly excited about. The brawl that will be the next gen gaming consoles, and see how they come out. And honestly, I wasn't really that excited about it. Like I was kind of like I was excited. I was excited for the new generation consoles, but I wasn't excited about the presentation because everybody seemed pretty much lockstep. Like Microsoft seemed like, oh, we're gonna try, but we'll just kind of take what we can get. And Nintendo is just like, we have money showered on us, cool. And PlayStation was going to continue to be the king. But after, like, dude, the Game Awards show, like, the only thing I can say is Microsoft did the equivalent of flying off stage with a bicycle kick to, like, kick PlayStation right in the face. Like, it fucking came out of nowhere. And I mean, like, old school, like, across the screen, like, like fucking flying 20 feet through the air with a bicycle kick just to nail you in the jaw. Like, they fucking clown PlayStation. Sony is fucked. And I mean, they're not, like, totally fucked, but small, small news cycle kind of thing. Like, through the holidays, dude, they're fucked. They lost it. Everybody's talking about Microsoft through the holidays. The best they can do, we talked about on here, is organize something and announce it early next year, which still gives Microsoft a 3-month lead in the news cycle. If they're this much ahead and this much pressing for next generation, I'm curious as to what they're doing. Are they getting dev kits in people's hands first? And
Brett?
Brett, I call us. I see
the problem I'm having with them.
Oh, hold on, Dre. Carlos about to hit us with some. Carlos, go ahead, man. Play it.
All right, 1 second.
I don't know if the rest. Go ahead.
Wait, what? Dude! Oh, that's the new Xbox system.
It's console.
Excuse me.
It's a goddamn tower.
Whoa! Monolith.
I'm getting to see it.
Whoa, is this a Scarlet? Whoa, hold on, whoa.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh my god.
That is dope as hell.
Wait, what?
That's beautiful.
Series X.
That's beautiful.
Okay, I don't think it's an actual.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Hold
He
on.
might have.
All right, that was a throwback to the last episode of
Right?
Throwdown. That was awesome.
Yeah, like,
that was our reaction. Yeah.
We all lost our shit.
Yeah.
And like I'm not sure if you can hear me on that, but I was like, oh god,
Yeah, Red lost it.
it looks dope as a motherfucker. It's back to being huge. It can beat a homo to death with this thing. Oh, the glory days. The glory days are back. Bring me the Duke. Somebody get me my Duke.
By the way, I said this up. I love how your barometer for how good a console is if you could beat a hobo to death with it.
Right? I mean, just like you picked up one of the OG Xbox, and I don't know why everybody says the same thing. They pick it up, they lift it a couple times, they look at you and go, I could beat a motherfucker to death with this. Like every time. That's what they say. It's like, this feels like a weapon. It feels like a brick. It's great. That thing was a solid machine. Dude, like 360? Nah. But the first Xbox, holy god, that thing was a solid machine. And the Duke, like I'm still good. There are Dukes still for those of you too young. The Duke was the name of the original OG Xbox controller.
That was the nickname.
They can buy new ones now.
Oh, hold on, I gotta put out
a company that they license it to. You can get the big ones.
I'm sorry, I gotta put out a fire real quick. Brett isn't speaking for all of us. He's like, "What are you guys talking about? Sony's not gonna get this from Microsoft." Brett said that, not me.
Yeah. No, and okay, just to put a clarification, because I can't speak in nuance to some of these people.
It's our fans. They don't hate motherfuckers.
I just said
What do you mean,
some
these
people.
people?
Some of these people.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, what do you mean, you people? Okay, so to those out there who don't want to work with me, I'm gonna spell it out a little bit. It's not that Sony is fucked, and it's not they're gonna lose this generation or anything like that. However, in the small term news cycle of the holiday season, like if you're looking at like quarters, right, like most businesses do, this is a bad thing for Sony this quarter, and they cannot respond until next quarter. And in terms of big corporate releases, that's about as big a fuck up as you can get. Only topped by TV. Right? Like you can flounce your one opportunity to release it, but getting the edge out and getting this talk, if they can continue the talk, if when Sony releases, the news cycle just doesn't go completely Sony, if Microsoft continues to release new information and stays in the news cycle, this has got, and even now, this has got a lot of people hearing about Xbox.
Brett just set the fucking chat on fire. They are not happy right now.
One thing, Brett. So the thing is that the quarter doesn't end until like February.
No. I'm not talking business quarter. Okay.
You're not talking fiscal.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not even talking fiscal. I'm just saying, like, 3 months. Okay, 3 months is 1/4 of a year. 1/4 of a year, Microsoft is in the news cycle with no competition. That is a bold move for Microsoft, and it paid off for them. They're not destroying Sony. They're not. They sucker punched Sony. Like, that's the only way to put it. I don't think Sony was expecting this, and if they did, they should have responded better instead of just sitting there and letting Microsoft come out to a fucking ticker tape parade of their own making.
Or just putting out a simple trailer that just has the PS5 moniker at the end, which is essentially probably a multi-platform game.
That was a fart in the wind. That was not any kind of response at all. So yeah, all I'm saying, dude, what are people in the chat pissed about? Like, what did I say that they think that I said?
They think that the Xbox Series X is essentially a joke and it's not going to do anything to tarnish Sony's image. That's pretty much what.
Okay.
And I just want to add this because I'm not trying to start a debate right now because we are, because I do want to end this at least at 3 hours. But I will say I don't think it's going to stay in the news cycle with the same intensity as before. The most things I've seen of the Series X are memes making fun of the shape. That's what I've mostly seen. Like basically for the first that weekend, obviously it dominated. Everybody's like, oh shit, next gen. Now it's kind of become a joke. Like this design itself is.
So has Sony though. Let's be fucking honest. That fucking weird boomerang indentation design has been a joke for fucking.
But no one's talking. Who the fuck is talking about the boomerang? It's like 12 years ago, bro. Like no one's talking about
he's talking about the dev kit that's been.
That's a dev kit though. That's not the
No, I know. People make fun of it. Like, first of all, the new Xbox, not a fucking joke. Like, despite how you cut it, it's a powerful PC machine that's not all that different from Sony. We're entering into an age where the systems are damn near fucking identical. They really, really are. And that's leading it more towards, well, what is the difference? The difference is the service. And Microsoft has always provided a better service. Coming from Bethesda, I know it's going to piss a lot of you people in there, but you got to be fucking real. And everybody in this room has to fucking agree. Microsoft provides a better service. Period. Come on!
I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that
really?
far.
Their internet, their connectivity,
that's the 360. That shit is the old fucking narrative, man. Yeah, that's the old narrative, man. Sony's actually the one that provides a more stable connection now if you play on PS4. That's just
more stable.
How many times have you heard Xbox people complaining?
You know how many times the Xbox Live has crashed like in the last 3 years? Sony's been fucking stable now. They got their shit together. This ain't the 360 era anymore, man.
Maybe I'm working with dated information. If I am, I'll totally totally with that. I'm getting off track though. The point is, first of all, it's a PC, right? Like they're all PCs. But we're all gonna flip out. Like, yeah, it's tall. Honestly, that would work fucking better for me. Second, this is not gonna destroy Sony. It's not going to fucking leave them in shambling ruins and everything like that. But let's be fucking honest here. The hold that Sony has on the market share, probably not going to last. Like, if you look at it historically.
I disagree.
Seriously?
Historically, Sony has been on top every generation, except for
not by this wide a margin, though.
No. The gap is going to close probably, right?
That's all I'm saying. The gap is going to close.
Okay,
we're not going to see. We're not going to see such a one-sided fistfight. Like, they can't continue to hold 90% of the market share. They're trying, and they're probably going to do a pretty good job. But this was a bold move by Microsoft that clearly shows that the gauntlet has been thrown. Microsoft is hungry, and they're going to throw sucker punches to try and catch some of this market share. So to kind of circle back on the original question, what I'm excited about is I'm excited for the fucking brawl. I'm excited to see what they do.
You're excited for the war, the console.
Yeah, no, Brett's like, begun the console wars have.
Let them fight.
Awesome, man. All right, that's pretty much extra side.
Wait, didn't we have a contest that we were supposed
No, we don't. No, we'll do that shit next year, man. We're not doing no contest.
Wait. We set up people's expectations.
Hold on. And by the way, this is bad on me because I'm the host. We had a contest this week.
Yeah, well, maybe in your drunken stupor the last show.
I was drunk. I made a bet with Brett. Brett, did you get my text, by the way?
Oh, you made a bad bet.
I made a bad fucking bet.
This motherfucker makes some stupid ass bets and starts promising people some shit. we're gonna give away something next week. You are on the. If you are, I mean, not next week. If we're on the next fucking show, throw down your questions. Anybody who is in the chat will choose you at random, and you will get a poster, a Death Stranding poster.
Ooh.
I say that.
I'm gonna up it up too, man. You're gonna get that and a $20 PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo card of your choosing. You know,
we will choose them at random using our little fun little spinny system. So if you're in the room, you will have a chance to win something.
Oh my god, did we really say this shit last week? I was fucking
Yes,
dude, I love to the viewers out there, listeners out there. I got a text the next day from Tony that says, "Dude, I was trash. I think I made a terrible bet."
By the way, it wasn't the next day. It was 2 days ago when I saw that Microsoft said, like, by the way, Series X means it's just one iteration of that series. I'm like, fuck, that means more SKUs. Shit.
Yes.
So I texted Brett. I'm like, yo, Brett, I think you won the bet already, bro.
The thing is, like, it's called a fucking series. What? Remember, fucking Phil said, listen, the name of the console dictates what the future is going to be.
Yeah.
Call it a fucking series. It's not going to be one.
I thought he was full of shit. You know? Oh man, because Phil Spencer is usually full of shit. Let's just be real, you know. But in this case,
not true.
Yeah, but yeah,
No, it is. That was just a great argument because that was basically what I said. Was like, dude, it's a series.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more than one. You're like, no. So I was like, all right, I'll bet you.
Yeah. If you were talking to sober Tony, I'd probably be like, yeah, because I didn't think about it. Like, oh yeah, series. I just thought it was Microsoft being stupid.
You fought
again.
that shit all the way to the ground.
You know how I do, son.
You thought about it because you argued against it.
Yeah.
It's not like the concept didn't occur to you. I pointed it out. You told me I was wrong.
Listen, Brad, you know me, drunk or sober, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail, man. You know how I am, man.
I respect that about you. I respect that about you.
I could be wrong as a motherfucker. I'm still gonna fight you, man. I don't relent, you know. I'm not a bitch. Anyway, so yes, we're gonna have a contest on Sunday apparently, and we're gonna give you the poster, $20 gift card, and maybe something else. You never know, man. You know.
Don't make no promises you can't keep, motherfucker.
Hey, I'm sober now, man. You know.
Pro tip to the listeners: send Tony alcohol.
Yeah, right. Hey, that'd be great. You know. Yeah,
he'll make more bets that he can't.
Yeah.
And make more content. He'll just start giving away content. So looking around his room, he'd be like, "I got Mega Man helmet. We're giving away a Mega Man helmet next week."
What's a scuff controller?
Oh no, they'll give me my shit away.
10 of those things.
By the way, I was thinking about that because I was thinking about having some drinks. I'm like, Tony, you shouldn't drink on a work night. It's like, drinking on a Sunday's on a work night too, motherfucker. Oh well, these things happen. Anyway, so speaking about that, Manny, great segue. Sunday, this was the final episode of this regular Throwdown, right? You know, thank you guys. We're going to give you guys thanks later, but we're going to have the final episode of Throwdown Questions this Sunday, and that's going to be the AMA special, people. You're going to ask us three questions about whatever you want, man. It's going to get crazy. Carlos, did you see some of the questions we're already getting? Motherfuckers asking, who's the one person on Throwdown you want to slap the most? We're getting shit like that.
Oh, damn. Already have the answer, too.
That is a good question.
Yeah, so we're going to answer that. And Brett, the ultimate question, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh,
you know what? That is
Don't answer it.
Yeah, don't answer.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and call. I'm going to have at least 3 say that I'm the one you want to slap.
Damn.
So to everyone in the chat, make sure to join our Discord. It's in our Twitter. If you don't know, send us a message and we'll send you the link. Make sure to post those 3 questions, man, because that go crazy. I really like answering questions like that are just random shit.
Yeah, we only do 3 of those per year, man. So make them count. You know, that's gonna be dope. Yeah, throw in your questions, and then after that, I mean, we'll give you more of a number. But basically, we're gonna do what usual. We're gonna take 2 weeks off, and then we'll come back in January, fresh, man, and just fresh. And then the last thing again, for you guys listening in the New York area. I'm going to be at Twitch's end of the year party tomorrow night or tonight. So if you want to see me in the flesh, maybe you could slap me in the face, you know, whatever you want.
I don't know if you want to say that.
Oh, no, they can slap me, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to retaliate. You know what I'm saying? Come on, son. So yeah, it's going to be at OS New York or LS NYC in Chinatown, Bowery Street. Hip Hop Gamer's going to be there. Danny Pena's going to be there. A bunch of people are going to be there. Going to be a lot of fun. Manny, our boy Dio's going to be there. You know.
Dio's showing up.
Yeah, man. So yeah, good time. So if you wanna come hang out with me, come through. So yeah, that's gonna do it. Andre, man, thank you so much for being on, man. This extra long
Man, no
episode,
problem.
bro. Please
It's all
plug your
good.
stuff, man.
RealOtakuGamer.com is the website. You can hit me up at New Otaku Man 5000 on Twitter, or Otaku Man 5000 anywhere. Check out our stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming, so 2020 is gonna be a good year for us.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Just on that tip, do you have anything you want to say to the fans before just as
I just
yeah.
appreciate all the love, man. I appreciate you guys sticking with us, paying
That's
attention
it,
to
man.
us, and we trying to do what we do.
That's what's
Trying
up,
to
man.
make waves. We're trying to make waves. We're trying to do little things different.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. You have no idea.
Yeah. No, we love having you on, man. Like I said,
I appreciate you guys, though, man. For real, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man.
You guys
Thank you.
are
Thank you, man.
killing it. Killing it.
I fucking love it, man. I love it. All right, people. So that's it. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. It's joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Good day.
Brett Murdoch.
It's been real.
Adam Vale.
Yeah, have a good week, everybody.
Brian Monjoma.
I'm really concerned about the rise of incest in media these days.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. And Mr. Andre Tipton.
Just keep gaming. Play what you like. Fuck with everybody.
Perfect words, man. All right, guys. We'll see you on Sunday, man. Later.
Later, guys.
Later.
Deuces. Almost beat me.